Lincoln High School in San Diego, California. I'm Andrew Lockhart with John Henry on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the visiting St. Augustine Saints against the host Lincoln Hornets. St. Augustine comes into tonight's game with an overall record of 7-2, while the home team Lincoln is 6-3. And we have a final matchup here on the last game of the regular season, John. And a little bit of excitement brewing out there. What's going on?
Well, we've got a beautiful night of football. Last game of the regular season here. These teams are playing for second place in the Eastern League. As you mentioned, Saints coming in 7-2 overall, 2-1 in league, and the Lincoln Hornets coming in 2-1 in league and 6-3 overall. So as you can tell, in league they're all knotted up. This is the game that's going to be the decisive one, and there's a little bit more on the line for the St. Augustine Saints as a Division IV team going into the playoffs. They're currently ranked number 1 in this state in the southern section. And this is something, if they win this, they're going to maintain that number 1 seed, which is huge for them. But at the same time, Lincoln, a little bit of a personal note, as we talked to the coaches before, getting a little excited about it. Coach David Dunn mentioning that this one is personal. We can look back at last year's loss to the Saints, 41-7. Saints put up quite a few points against the Lincoln Hornets, 7, and we've got quite a matchup tonight.
I think so. Lincoln is a much improved team over last year, but what Coach Dunn mentioned was that this is going to be a physical game. There's going to be some issues with the matchups out there, John.
Yeah, I mean, he's mentioned his couple tackles, and we'll get their numbers and start calling their names when we start this game, but you can see them right away on the video. There's some big boys out there. And then on the outsides, they've got 2 boys who are going to be heading to Oregon next year, the Robinson twins, heading in at 6'4", seniors, and leading this team in passing, or receiving yards, rather, on that side of the ball.
Some tall trees, and we'll take a break, and we'll be right back with the kickoff in just a few minutes. Friday Night Football begins next on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, coming to you live from South San Diego here. Coronado Bridge in the background, San Diego, downtown San Diego skyline that is, as the sun sets in the west. John Henry, we're bringing you football here. As we mentioned, we have the Lincoln Hornets at the St. Augustine Saints, or rather the Saints at Lincoln. Looks like the Hornets will be kicking off on the left side of your screen. Saints will be returning. They will be going from the right side towards the left. Saints, of course, in the golden helmets, purple pants, white blouses. Lincoln, they are in the black motif, green highlights, green helmets. Kick is off. It's a flib off towards the near side. Flag will go onto the field as that went out of bounds.
And you know, Andrew, that one they almost got a hand on that and caught it in bounds, as the St. Augustine Saints were not ready for that kind of squib kick, or the flub as you called it. They were ready to return a deep kick, which they've done so well this year. But that one, unfortunately for Lincoln, kicked out of bounds, and the Saints are going to have a great starting field position as we start this game in the second place Eastern League match.
Yeah, and that's not exactly a team you want to give good field position. JoJo Hudson is getting the starting quarterback position for the Saints. Seen a whole lot of him this year. He's going to hand this first one off. Run is towards the far side. Brought down right around the 45-yard line in their own territory.
And that first give to Elijah Preston, number 20, the freshman, believe it or not, coming out and making his debut this year. He's had a quite a year, to say the least, with a league-leading 877 yards on the year, 7 TDs, and just done a phenomenal job, especially as a freshman, coming in for the Saints offense.
Absolutely, and you look at his size, too. He's not a very big guy.
No.
Hudson's going to hand it off to him once again. Going to break the plane at midfield. It brought down right around the 48-yard line, maybe the 47. We'll see where they spot that.
And I know we're going to be talking about Elijah Preston quite a bit tonight, because he does get quite a few carries, even though he's a freshman, even though he's 5'5", 175. You see on that run, especially, we had a good view. He got hit. He hit the pile, kind of followed his blockers, kept his legs moving, and picked up an extra 6 yards for that first down. And as a freshman, that's so hard to teach. You know, most freshman running backs, they want to run as hard as they can. They don't understand how they're supposed to be patient run behind their blockers and then keep those feet moving. And you're not going to get 40 yards every time. Sometimes 10 or 11 is good enough.
Yeah, inch by inch, it's a cinch.
There you go. I like that.
A little bit of confusion over on the Lincoln side of the field. They're getting squared away. Almost back into the action here, JoJo Hudson. Going to take this snap once again. It's a first down for the Saints. He's going to fake the handoff, throw off towards the near side. That ball will be caught, brought down right around the 41-yard line. About a 7-yard gain.
And that's Ryan Herberger, the senior captain for this St. Augustine Saints team, picking up, don't believe that was a first down, but another big play. He's been one of their crucial guys this year, coming in with touches every game and leading this team to where they are today.
Man in motion behind Hudson, lines up on the line on the right. Hudson will hand it off once again. It's 2nd and 4. Brought down is Preston. I think he's going to be short of the first down by about a yard. Be 3rd down now and 1.
And the Hornets on the last 2 plays doing a great job of wrapping up, not letting that receiver or the running back on that last play get those extra yards from a missed tackle, something like that. But if they can come up with a big play right here, not let the Saints pick up this yard for the first down, it'll be a great start for this Hornets defense.
A lot of motion. They're going blitz. Preston finds a hole, though, and he breaks all the way to the 30-yard line. There's a flag in the backfield, though. That likely is going to be on the Saints, and yes, it is. So the Saints, they pick up the first, penalized, so they'll have to move back a little bit. Less than 10 minutes left on the clock. And, you know, the Saints coaching staff, we were talking to some people before the game, John, and they were saying that they wanted to start fast in this game. They didn't want to give Lincoln any opportunities to hang in there. I think they're pretty confident coming into this game. So we'll see what happens out on the field. That penalty is going to cost them a little bit of the momentum they had there.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. If the Saints can jump out and get a few quick scores right here, I think you're right in there, and you're in a good position to win this game.
It's going to be 3rd and 6. Hudson goes back, goes way back. He's looking for somebody to throw to. He's got a little bit of pressure, flushed out of the pocket. Holy smokes, that was off the hands of the receiver and caught. Barely inside the boundary.
And it looked like number 11 on the defense, Tejan Mondi, who's one of the captains and a wide receiver, you know, one of the guys on defense who usually catches that ball. If he's on the other side, kind of got surprised that it was right in his hands, slipped right through his hands, right to the receiver for the Saints side, and a huge lucky play almost for the Saints there as they pick up a first down.
Mondi's still shaking his head out on the field. He wasn't happy about that. Saints got a man in motion again. Looks like they're lining up a little bit more on the right side now. Hand off, and that'll be going towards the far side and brought down. Not much of a gain there. Go to 2nd down. Saints did pick up the first on that last play with that awkward catch.
Hey, they'll take what they can get, though, at this point. And that last handoff going to Francois Sims, the second, who's got 5 TDs on the year, going along with Preston Wilson. He's a 5'11 freshman coming in at 210. More of that big run bunch package that he brings to the game.
Handoff is faked. Hudson's looking deep. Looks like he's just going to run this one himself. Hudson has a pair of wheels on him. He's a pretty fast quarterback, likes to run the ball. It's going to be flushed out, it looks like, right around the 26-yard line. So they're going to go to 3rd down now, 3rd and 6. Hudson, they've been doing a lot, I've noticed, John. They've put Patrick Dixon in motion, line him up. He goes from the left side to the right side, get an extra blocker in there. Looks like they've sniffed something out, probably on the blitz coming from Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, Dixon's such a big target in there for JoJo Hudson, but at the same time, maybe that motion's kind of tipping something off, as you mentioned, maybe a blitz or a coverage read for Hudson as he goes in motion most plays this first drive.
Hudson's going to go back. Looks like he's going to run this one himself again. I think he's going to come up with the first down. He stretched his arm out. Again, we'll mention it. Hudson, he's a great runner. It looks like he is going to pick up the first down now. They're going to move the change. We got 8:41 left on the clock. Saints are going to get started on the 21-yard line in Lincoln territory.
And if you're the Saints right now, you're really happy about this drive so far. It's eaten up a good chunk of the clock. You've gotten positive yardage, picked up a few first downs. Really successful drive so far for the Saints.
One man back for the Saints. They're going to hand it off. That's Preston who's back there. Preston's wheeling and dealing. He's got a little bit of room. Looks like he's going to pick up the first down pretty readily, and he's pushed out of bounds inside of the 10-yard line. So that's going to be first and goal now for the Saints.
And the Saints, as their coaching staff, Coach Sweat mentioned before this game, as we were talking to them, they want to start off fast. They want to get ahead. They don't want to lose the lead in this one because Lincoln's that kind of high-powered offense and defense that they can make a play. They can turn this game around with just a couple seconds and one big play.
Hudson takes the snap again. He's going to hand it off to Preston. Preston looking for a hole. He went down. It looks like he's managed to stay on his feet, though. A lot of pressure on him, and he's come awful close to the goal line. And it looks like it was a fumble recovery right around the 1-yard line, John. What would happen?
I couldn't tell exactly. It was kind of on that far side of the field. We had a lot of players in between us and the ball, but it looked like Preston, he kind of tried to pick up the extra couple yards, kept moving his feet, and that's kind of the up and down of being able to bounce off people. He just got hit one too many times. That ball popped out. He almost recovered it, as you mentioned. It looked like he fell on it at the 1. But the Lincoln Hornets with a huge stop after that big Saints drive. Now they've got an opportunity to at least eat up some clock and pick up some positive yards, get down the field. Of course, they got to go 99 yards to score here on this one.
Big turnaround. Goes in Lincoln's favor. Hartman, he's in the end zone. He's going to throw wide out. Ball went up, not caught. Looks like going for that was Tyree Robinson.
And that right there, Andy, is going to be a fun matchup to watch the rest of the night. On the coverage, Dominic Morgan, who's got more than a couple interceptions on the year, covering Tyree Robinson, who will be heading to Oregon next year, playing for the Ducks.
That's pretty good school.
It's not too shabby. Ranked number 2 in the nation at the moment, and he's picked up 275 yards this year as one of their main receivers. 6'4", 205, just a big guy. Tough to cover for Morgan. Going to be a big coverage match for him tonight.
Hartman's going to hand this one off. They're going to try to get out of that dangerous territory. Looks like it's going to be a short game, maybe a yard or two. I think they're going to spot that at the 2-yard line. So it's going to be third and about 8 yards to go. Still in dangerous territory, though. See what they do here, John.
Yeah, and you look at the offensive line for Lincoln, it looks like an obvious mismatch. They've got a few extra pounds, a few extra inches on that front line pushing forward. But the Saints defense doing a good job of filling gaps and not letting the running back get out of that backfield as we follow a big third down here for Lincoln.
Coach Dunn mentioned they're going to be about 50-50 running and passing. Hartman, he goes back. He looks for the pass here. That's going to be bobbled out of the hands of the intended receiver. He was looking for Kayvon Mitchell. Kayvon couldn't come up with it. I think they're going to have to punt this one away as it is 4th down.
Yeah, and Mitchell coming into this game with 268 yards in the air. Just they've got so many weapons, so tough for the Saints to cover. But at the same time, the Saints defense pretty physical and athletic themselves, doing a good job on this first drive for the Hornets, breaking up 2 passes for those wide receivers.
Both teams stunted on their first drives. Punt is up. It's going to land right around the 38-yard line in their own territory. It's picked up, fumbled a little bit. He manages to come up with it. Oh, and he's got his clock cleaned. My goodness, right around midfield, I think at the 48-yard line of Lincoln territory.
Dominic Morgan picking up that ball. It took him a few times to pick it up. He finally did and really didn't have anywhere to go besides that sideline. Good job by the Hornets on the coverage team for the punt. Picking up Morgan and a decent punt there. Looks like we're going to have a penalty on that one. I'll let you call that one, Andrew. I didn't see the call.
Well, you'd be a little bit remiss in pointing it over to me.
Sorry.
Didn't catch that one either. I think they're going to redo the punt here. We have Lincoln heading back towards their original position. Yeah, they have the punting unit still out there.
Might have been just an offsides or legal movement on the line there, but either way, we're going to see another punt here. I think as we watched that last punt, the Saints could have gotten a little more pressure on the quarterback, on the punter, as they're kind of backed up against that back of the end zone there. maybe the Saints are looking to get a block on this, obviously, but maybe send an extra man or two off that outside edge.
Oh, they're calling it now. It was a false start on Lincoln. So they will go ahead and repunt this. Some confusion over on the Saints sideline. Looks like they got the right staff out there that they wanted. Kicking it away. It's a tall one right around midfield. It's going to drop. Oh, and it's fumbled away. Hard to see who's going to come up with it. That was Dominic Morgan again. Got a hand on it, but it fell out.
And on the coverage team there for the Hornets, Tyshawn Whiting getting down the field in a flash. And as soon as that ball hit the hands of Morgan, he was there hitting him and knocking it loose. And the Hornets are going to come up with this one. Man, their biggest play of the game, they're going to get a positive 35 yardage on that one. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Hornets.
Barely able to advance that ball when they were pinned deep in their own territory, but now a sequence of events leads them to right around the 40-yard line.
Jamisi Charles, the senior 6 foot number 16, picking up that ball and falling on it, wrestling it away from 2 St. Augustine players who were trying to pick up that ball as well, and it pays off for the Hornets as they are now in great field position for a good drive here, and a little bit of momentum too here, Andrew.
That sky-high punt, too hot to handle for Dominic Morgan, unfortunately. But a good sequence of events for Lincoln. So now Lincoln's going to get their start. Looks like they're going to be at the 39-yard line. We haven't seen them advance the ball very far. They had one run for some short gain. Passing play hasn't worked out for them. They've gone to it a couple times. We know they have the receivers, and they have the quarterback to make that happen. We'll see if they go back to that here now. It's Hardman. He's going to be the quarterback still for Lincoln. An arm like that, you don't want him out of this game. He's going to pitch that one off. Run's going to be on the near side of your screen at home. It's going to be a gain of about 5-6 yards. Actually, scratch that, make it 7. So it's 2nd and 3 now. 6:30 left on the clock.
And that was Jayshon Murphy, number 29 on the carry. On the year, he's averaged 70 yards per game, which is a solid chunk, especially as they're spreading out the offense and picking up 10 touchdowns rushing for the Hornets this year.
Hardman, he's going to hand it off. Tries to go right up the middle and stuff. That not going to go for much of a gain there. We'll see if they can pick up the first. It's going to be awful close. And they are going to move the chain, so that's going to be a 1st down now from Lincoln.
Murphy doing a good job of just picking up. You know, he could have just picked up one there, kept those feet moving, running downhill, moving forward, pushed a couple Saints defenders back and picking up that big 1st down. Now maybe look for the quarterback to move it outside, go to the air, as we got single coverage here on the near and far side.
Hardman had a hard time holding on to that ball, and he is brought down. Great pressure applied from the Saints.
Saints getting in there early. Number 55, Quinn Seau, jumping in, the freshman, 6'1", 200 pounds, coming in from the linebacker position to get a sack, and that's a huge play there, pushing them back, pushing the Hornets back 5 yards and bringing up a 2nd and 15 now.
Hardman had trouble holding on to the snap. I think that was originally designed to be a handoff, going to be a running play, but that just didn't pan out. Hardman just tried to make something of it himself before he was brought down. Hardman gets it again. He's looking deep, sees a hole, finds an alley, and he just runs through it himself. I think he's going to pick up probably about 9-10 yards there. Still not going to be enough for the first, though. It's going to be 3rd down now for Lincoln. I think they have 5 yards to go here. Make that 6.
And the Saints doing a good job of not letting Lincoln really getting anything going on that first drive, especially. I think they netted 0 yards before the punt. And now here, picking up a 3rd and long. They need a big play here from their secondary, as you got to imagine. Quarterback's going to the air on this one.
Yeah, they've had trouble connecting with the pass. Hardman, he's looking for a pass. I think that ball just kind of slipped out of his hand. He was looking deep when he threw it, but I think it just might have slipped out there. So it'll be 4th down now. They'll likely punt it away. They're out of field goal range.
It was kind of an interesting play. It looked like Hardman wanted to throw that one. I don't know if he decided last minute not to throw it or if that was a designed kind of hitch and go where it was a fake throw, just slipped out of his hand, hit one of his his offensive lineman in the back of the head, and definitely not the intended receiver for the Hornets.
Yeah, it hit someone right in the dome. I don't think that was that was as planned.
Scrape that green or gold paint off that ball before we kick it here.
So it looks like Lincoln's going to punt it away again. They've had good success on the punt so far. Another sky-high punt. Going to drop inbounds at about the 19-yard line. Pushed out. That's Dominic Morgan who picked that up again. He was right along the sideline, pushed out by Jerome Silvas. Great punt by Lincoln. Punting's been a strength so far for them, John.
Hey, whatever gets it done. And Jamisi Charles getting down. He was the one who recovered that fumble on the last punt. He was the first man down this time and making Dominic Morgan a little uncomfortable back there. I don't know if it was the wisest play to pick up that ball on the hop as there were 3 or 4 Lincoln Hornets kind of like they were sniffing that one out from the start, and he was lucky he held on to that ball as he bobbled it a little bit right as he caught it.
Saints are going to be penalized here as well. So they're going to get their start on their own 12-yard line. Well, that was a great punt by Lincoln. That's really going to pin the Saints back here now. We know they can crawl out of it. They definitely have the talent on their roster to do so. Get another look at JoJo Hudson et al. On the field. Hand it off right up the middle. Preston, he's going to get those little legs moving. He's going to be dropped right around the 16-yard line, maybe the 17. He's second down now for the Saints. 4 minutes left on the clock. We're still looking at 2 goose eggs up on the scoreboard.
I'll tell you what, I mean, the special teams for Lincoln forcing that turnover, and then the defense for Lincoln forcing the turnover as well. That's been the highlights of the game so far, keeping Saints off this board.
It's been tit for tat out there. Hudson is going to hand this one off to Preston again. Preston, he's got a fire on him. He's going to advance the ball up the field once again. I think he's going to be short of the first here by about a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 1 now.
And every time, man, he touches the ball, you know JoJo Hudson, he's got to be excited every time he hands the ball off to Preston Wilson, number 20, as he checks off for, looks like the big bunch package coming in to pick up this 1 extra yard. But Preston, every time he touches the ball, he's hitting the gaps with full speed. I mean, you see a lot of running backs, and they kind of tiptoe through the hole. He hits it so hard, and it's almost an automatic 4 or 5 yards every time he touches that ball.
Hudson takes the snap. He's going to hand it off once again. He puts the bulldozer out there. That's easily going to pick up the first down, gain of about 4 yards there. So we'll go ahead and move the chains. And you're right, when you're talking about Preston, it's not only his speed, it's his acceleration. He gets to maximum velocity so quick that it seems like it's almost a yard or 2 guaranteed every single run, just based on the fact as soon as he hits the hole, he's already going at full speed.
Exactly, and you got to credit that front line, too, with opening up those holes for the Saints.
Absolutely. That's a serious strength that the Saints have on that offensive line. Hudson looks for the pass, can't find it. He's going to walk this one in himself, and he will slide into the 30-yard line. Said he's got wheels. He's not afraid to use them.
And he was looking for Patrick Dixon there, one of his favorite receivers, who's got 27 catches on the year, including 4 touchdown catches and a total of 354 yards. I mean, he's one of the go-to guys for JoJo Hudson. Just great coverage there by the Hornets. JoJo Hudson had to tuck it and run and picked up a solid 5 yards.
Yeah, Lincoln's defensive backs have done an excellent job early in this game, preventing the secondary from being able to connect with Hudson. Hudson undeterred. He's got pressure on him. Thrown. He manages to make that catch. Wow, that looks like that was Tim Chapman who got that pass. Hudson went down hard. He had a lot of pressure applied on him. I believe that was Tyrell Robinson. Robinson going after Hudson's blind side, takes him down. Hudson managed to get that pass off, though, John.
And Robinson playing on both sides of the ball. For the offensive side, we got Tim Chapman on the reception. He's got 20 receptions, make it 21 now on the year for a total of 237 yards coming into this game. Another one of Chapman's favorite receivers. Watch for him the rest of the night.
Thank you for keeping up the stats there, John. Appreciate that.
No problem.
That is going to go against Lincoln. Player a little too anxious out on the field. I think they're going to penalize. Looks like that's Cassay, another captain on the Lincoln squad. So it's still going to remain at first down, about 5 yards for the first. A minute 11 left in the first quarter here. Still 0-0 game. It's a wash at this point. Both these teams pretty evenly matched in the early goings. St. Augustine, they're going to hand this ball off once again. It's going to be Preston. He's going to pick up the first readily, plus another 4. About an 8-9 yard run for Preston. He's been really impressive in this game. He's been impressive all season, and an unlikely story to even see Preston out there, and he is just carrying the load for the Saints so far.
Yeah, and that story, unfortunately, the junior Tyler Herberger, 5'11", coming into the year with just outstanding numbers in the first few games, unfortunately broke his leg, opened up the door for Elijah Preston to come in, and man, has he filled some shoes this year as a freshman.
Hudson will hand it off to Preston once again. Preston's going to pick up a yard or two. It'll be second down for the Saints, about 8 to go. 20 seconds left on the clock, and you're right, Herberger, one of the premier running backs in San Diego, if not the state. It's kind of a loss you can't replace, but I'll tell you, Preston has stepped up to the plate in such a big way. And I'll tell you, even before Herberger went down with that really unfortunate injury, we saw Preston getting a lot of carries and getting a lot more time than you would have expected. So just an unlikely series of events. Either way, the Saints have stayed very competitive as the first quarter will run out of play here. Take it away, John.
Tonight's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit their website at www.cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also, see CPC on the St. Augustine team page on PlayOnSports.com. Click on the CPC icon on the left of the St. Augustine team page. Online print buying has never been this easy. Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Here on PlayOnSports.com, bringing you all sorts of high school football action. Final game of the season, the regular season that is, for these two teams. High stakes game, a lot on the line for both sides. Lincoln says it's personal. Saints, they're trying to hold on to the top of the Division IV lead. They played one quarter so far, 0-0. Both sides having trouble advancing the ball in any significant way. And so now, Saints will be on the left side of your screen, driving towards your right. The Saints, once again, they're in the golden helmets, purple pants, white shirts. Lincoln, they're in the black with the green helmets. Go ahead, John.
And you know, Andrew, it seems like so far it's been a game of the Saints kind of shooting themselves in the foot. They've committed 2 turnovers in that first half. Hornets not able to capitalize on any of them, but it's helping them with the field position and not allowing the Saints to get into the end zone.
Hudson wide out, finds his man. Big drive up the left side, the far side of your screen. He gave it off to Dominic Morgan, who we haven't seen too much offensively. Had trouble picking up one of the punts. But now we see him with a reception and a lot of yardage. The far side of your screen, they're going to pick up the first down. They're going to move those chains. So now the Saints at about Lincoln's 29-yard line. First down for them. Hudson, he's going to hand it off. Near side of the screen, big run. He's got no one in front of him. Wide open range. That's a touchdown for the Saints. Finally, we see the offense open up here. That's Francois Sims the second. Big run from him. 29-yard run from Sims. Saints will go up 6-0 over Lincoln. 11:34 left in the second quarter.
Man, and I'm not sure there, Andrew, what Coach Sanchez was telling them or feeding them during that timeout there.
Gatorade. Gatorade.
Yeah, we'll call it Gatorade. But Francois Sims just turning on the afterburners, picking up that touchdown. Make it 6 for the freshman on the year.
Point after attempt. Snap is up, kick is up. That will go through those uprights. So the Saints took them a quarter and a little bit extra. but they will go up 7-0 here on PlayOnSports.com.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information, as well as links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
We haven't seen a whole lot of Sims in this game, but he came up with a big run right when his team needed it. St. Augustine, they struggled a little bit when they were within the 10-yard line before. Saw in the first quarter of play, managed to apply the hammer to the nail. Pick up a big run there from Sims. So now 7-0 lead. Saints wanted to come out fast and big in this game. I don't think we saw quite that in the first quarter of play.
And Andrew, you look at what the Saints offense has been able to do, and the defense, if we're talking about the Saints as a team. And that last drive, it was a great about 60-yard drive, and they were able to get it into the end zone. But then you look back at their previous drive, and that's the one that Preston fumbled right about the 1-yard line, but that was also a really good drive for them. So without that mistake and the dropped punt, they might be up a couple extra scores here. And I feel like they have kind of come out quickly, especially in the second half, finally putting some points on the board.
I'll agree they came out quick in the second quarter.
Yep.
That'll go for a touchback off the kickoff. Sims has got 269 yards coming into this game. That'll go for his 6th touchdown of the season. Lincoln, they're going to get their start from the 20-yard line. They're going from the right side of your screen to your left. Have to mention, though, that the Saints, Lincoln, the Hornets, they did an incredible job shutting down the passing game of the Saints.
Yeah, and so far, so good for the Lincoln's defense. And now I feel like they should kind of come out all turbo here. They've got to make something happen and not let the Saints get the ball back and put more points on the board.
Looking at Hardman, he goes back, takes a couple steps. Beautiful pass right up the middle. Caught around the 37-yard line in their own territory. That was caught by Robinson once again. Robinson brought down right around the 41-yard line. 42 make that. Easily the first down pickup. 11:29 left on the clock. They're still down 7.
And if Hardman can keep spreading this ball out, there were a couple extra receivers open on that play where he could have kind of chosen where he wanted to go. But if he can put that ball into the hands of his receivers, they're going to have a great night.
Hardman pitches it behind him, brought down around the 45. Looks like that. That's Murphy. Jay-Sean Murphy. Good pickup from him. It'll be 2nd down now for Lincoln.
And Murphy, one of the go-to running backs for the Hornets. He's only a junior. Watch for him next year, too, to kind of break out.
They're going to assess a penalty here. Flag went down right around the 41-yard line. And they're going to call it 2nd down, and they're going to move Lincoln back.
I believe, and they called a face mask there.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
That's a tough break for Lincoln after they've kind of gotten this drive going. All of a sudden, it's 1st and 20, what could have been a second and about 4 or 5.
Lincoln managed to get their passing game going. That's shut down a little bit by that penalty. Hardman will start in the shotgun now. One man to his left. He's going to walk towards the far side of the screen. Passes off far out of bounds. No chance of catching that one.
And you saw Tyrell Robinson just running an easy, skinny post through the middle of the field about 20 yards deep. He was a little frustrated, had his hand in the air, looking for the ball. Man, and he was standing right in the middle of the field, nobody around him. And I think Hardman just kind of missed him on that one.
Yeah, Hardman was he was under a lot of pressure there, obviously flushed towards the far side of the field. I don't think that was even in his periphery.
Right. Good offensive or defensive pressure by the Saints front lines.
It'll be 2nd down now. 2nd down and a country mile to go for Lincoln. Lincoln's going to hand it off here. near side of the field. Good run. Dropped right around the 44-yard line.
Murphy getting back to just past the original line of scrimmage and bringing up a big 3rd down for Lincoln. St. Augustine, if they can pick up a stop here, they're going to have some good field position if they can get the punt and return it with decent yardage.
Yeah, the punting's been an asset of Lincoln, though. I'll tell you that. They've had some incredible punts and some benevolent luck.
At this point, you kind of take what you can get. If the punts are working, then punt that ball off, you know?
Absolutely. Hardman once again. Pass. No one available to catch that, though. I don't think either of the receivers in that vicinity were ready to catch.
Looks like it was intended for Tejon Mondi, number 11, coming over the middle, but he was double, maybe triple covered.
It was either Mondi or Robinson. I don't think either one of them were really looking for the pass when it went off there. Either way, a lot of traffic up the middle. It's going to force the 4th down here. Lincoln, they have the punting unit out there doing double duty. Hardman, he is the punter here, as well as the quarterback for Lincoln. He's got legs and he's got arms. Using them both here tonight. Punt is up. Deep. That goes over Morgan's head. Morgan's going to pick it up right around the 6-yard line. Morgan's going to choose to run with this one. Manages to wiggle his way all the way to about the 20-yard line before he's brought down. Manages to turn nothing into something there. Good run by Morgan. 10:25 left on the clock. Saints are still up 7-0 over Lincoln.
And Morgan finally with a solid return there to kind of get the momentum started here on this drive for the Saints as they kind of came out of the second quarter with a bang. Just 2 plays it took them to get into the end zone. And I'm sure that's exactly what they're looking to do here. Just pick up some big yards, get in the end zone, get some points on the board, and sit back and start kind of focusing on eating up the clock and being smart out there.
Hudson and friends back out on the field for the Saints. Hudson making sure the positioning's correct. And he'll take the snap. Hands it off to Preston. It looks like he got sniffed out right around the line of scrimmage. Lincoln finding a way to stop Preston. They haven't been too successful at that so far in this game.
I believe that was Mogus Kasey getting into the backfield. Great job. You got to find something to stop Morgan, and if you can't, he's going to keep running all over you. And Kasey doing a good job. The captain, senior, making a play there on 1st down for the Saints.
Saints have a lot of fast runners, a lot of people they can put and insert into the running back position. It's a serious asset for their team. Hudson, he's going to fake the handoff, and he's blitzed heavily. He had 3 players on top of him. I think first to him was Melifanu. A couple guys combining on that sack, though. 9:38 left on the clock. Saints, they're going to be pushed back all the way to the 9-yard line, 3rd down.
And the Hornets, the first two drives for the Saints, they've been so successful running, throwing. They can kind of do what they want. But here, all of a sudden, the Hornets making 2 huge plays, and all of a sudden, the Saints are backed up against their own goal line, 3rd down, and about 18 to go here. Tough break for the Saints, but a great job by the Hornets making them make plays.
Saints man in motion, 1 back. Hudson near his own end zone before he's brought down. Don't think there will be the safety there. He got pinned pretty close, though. I think he ultimately got dropped right around the 4-yard line. That'll obviously bring out the kicking unit. 8:50 winds down from the clock.
Yeah, and you called, Andrew. I mean, I think Hudson found himself in the end zone before he realized it and just managed to sneak out of that end zone, get his punting unit a few extra yards. But credit the Hornets secondary with the coverage sack there, as Hudson had nowhere to throw. He was happy to go down as long as he was out of that end zone, bringing up a big punt for the Saints.
Yeah, I think a punt from the 4-yard line or a punt from the 6-yard line doesn't really make much of a difference. By the way, punt is up. It's a low one. It's going to bounce a little bit. Cleanly picked up. Follow that up with a run. He's still on his feet. He's going to make a run for it. 10, 5, and he's into the end zone. 8 minutes left on the clock. Huge touchdown for Lincoln.
And Tyree Robinson, we've seen him working on the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, and here returning the punt, the 6'4" senior headed to Oregon next year, and we see a little bit why right there, just blowing past the St. Augustine coverage team, picking up an easy 40 yards for himself and a touchdown. Now out to tie this thing up for the Hornets, the kicker, and man, Robinson's got some wheels.
I can see the appeal that Oregon found in Robinson. He had a lot of pressure on him. Point extra attempt up and in. So it's going to be all wrapped up. It's 7-7 now. Robinson, though, I'll tell you, he had so much pressure on him, it looked like he had nowhere to go, and he managed to just make that play and carry it on his shoulders himself. So we're all tied up now, 7-7 here at Lincoln High School. PlayOnSports.com.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Back here on PlayOnSports.com, I'm Andrew Lockhart. With me is John Henry.
And Andrew, all of a sudden, the Saints, as much as they wanted to come out and get a little buffer for themselves, come out fast, put some points up on the board, here we are sitting at 7-7, thanks to the touchdown return by Tyree Robinson. And I think you kind of put it lightly when you said, I think I can see the appeal that Oregon sees in Robinson. Man, that kid's got some wheels, and he ran so smartly too there. Some great blocks picked up by the punt team again. We'll call out that punt return team on this time for the Hornets, just putting up some points on the board. Huge play by Robinson.
A working wonder squib kick. Picked up by the Saints and dropped almost as quickly as it was picked up.
I think that was Derek Vieira just focusing on the task at hand. Get that ball, secure it, get down to the ground, and let your offense go to work.
And I think part of it, John, the Saints, they said they wanted to get that fast start, put points up on the board quickly. I think that's because they know that Lincoln has some real dangerous players, some real talented guys on that roster that can hurt you, just like we saw Robinson do on that last scoring drive.
Right. And they really haven't been able to do much on offense, but that one play, all of a sudden it's tied. Just
like that, a punt return turns into a touchdown. Hudson's going to hand it off up the middle, no room. Be dropped right around the 30-yard line. That's where the Saints have gotten their start here. Less than 8 minutes on the clock, about 7:45. It's going to be second down and 9 to go. Pickup of 1 yard on that play.
Now, I'm not sure, and we'll keep looking out for it, what the Hornets have done on defense these last few plays, but all of a sudden the Saints' offense is just stalled. They can't figure out how to get any kind of yardage. They got sacked twice last time, had to punt, which resulted in a touchdown. And here they are again, 2nd and 9, just really can't get anything going.
Hudson's going to go to his go-to man, Preston. Preston, he has trouble finding room out there as well. Picked up maybe a yard. And I think what it is they're doing a great job reading the plays of the Saints. The Saints have had trouble. Their runners like to go up the middle. They haven't had a whole lot of real estate available up that way. On top of that, Hudson, he's a guy who's run first. He hasn't been able to connect many passes. Secondary coverage of Lincoln has been solid. I think that's where we're at right now, John.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you as you see Lincoln kind of putting everybody in the box, backing up just a few guys on the secondary coverage.
Just like that, though, Preston finds a hole. He gets the handoff from Hudson. He breaks away. 2 men behind him. They got some speed. Preston's got a little less gas in his tank, and he's brought down eventually. My goodness, that was a huge run from him. He was brought down by Robinson. Into the red zone, though. What's going on, John?
Man, as fast as Preston is, you see number 2 and number 19, and I'm not sure who you were referring to, which Robinson twin, but Tyree and Tyrell Robinson, the senior captains, running down Preston like he was a rabbit being run down by some hyenas or something. I mean, they just were all over him, not letting him get into the end zone, but nonetheless, a huge successful play for the Saints.
Handoff up middle brought down. I suppose I should clarify which Robinson I'm speaking about. And we have some extracurriculars out on the field. Coach Dunn, we were speaking before the game, Coach Dunn of Lincoln, he was predicting a physical game. I think that prophecy is fulfilled here. And that penalty will go against Lincoln for that after the whistle shove.
It looked like number 28, Keyshawn Runnels, almost picking up the wide receiver and bench pressing him down to the ground. I mean, quite a physical show of how strong he is, but he's got to do it within the confines of the game and especially in between the whistles. But, you know, maybe it's one of those plays making a statement out there. Nonetheless, moving the Saints forward a few yards.
Saints are at the 4, second down. Handed off, bounced around a little bit. I don't think he's going to pick up much, maybe a yard in there. See how far that run can be stretched out. Either way, it's going to be third down and goal. Saints really relying heavily on the run here. Still haven't seen much of that passing game from Hudson. We know he has an arm, but he's always been a bit of a run-first quarterback. See what we go to here. Really tight formation. Hudson's got 2 men behind him. Man in motion as well. Hudson handoff. That's Preston. Preston got dinged up before he went down. I think he actually might have collided with one of his own players before he went down. I don't know if he's going to pick anything up on that one.
And number 73, Nick Henderson, the 6'5 senior, weighing in at 368, getting a push on that defensive line, trying to get into the backfield, and I think he had a hand in taking Preston down as well on that play. But I mean, this is one of those drives that it's so tough to come back from after a huge play for the Saints. You're asking your defense to all of a sudden step up and make some plays. Now we're looking at a 4th down situation with about 4 yards to go here for the Saints. Got to credit those Lincoln Hornets in making a stand here, even after that big play.
It's a 4th and goal situation. They're on the 4-yard line. We'll see what they opt to do here. No signs yet that they're going to go for a field goal.
And you got to mention at this point, because there is an option of a field goal, Nick Sinclair, who's pretty much, I mean, as far as my memory serves me, he's done pretty solidly out there. I can't give you the numbers on him, but he's one of their solid kickers, and he's done a great job this year. So you got to imagine if the Saints want to put some numbers on the board, they can.
Saints will take a timeout here. Back in a moment here on PlayOnSports.com.
Tonight's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit their website at www.cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also, see CPC on the St. Augustine team page on PlayOnSports.com. Click on the CPC icon on the left of that page. Online print buying has never been this easy.
Still in the midst of a timeout here, 7-7, all wrapped up. Less than 5 minutes on the clock, 4 minutes, 57 seconds here in San Diego, California at Lincoln High School. Pretty far south in the San Diego city here. And it looks like the Saints are going to line up for the field goal. They are at the 4-yard line in Lincoln territory. Sinclair kick is up through the uprights. That looked pretty easy for him. And looks like some more extracurriculars out there. I think Lincoln was a little aggressive after the kick was off. See how the referees determine the outcome of this.
And that's going to be a huge break for the Saints if they get an automatic first down on this, if it's a roughing the kicker.
Looks like the referees are still clarifying it amongst themselves. Either way, the kick is going to go for good, I believe.
And I think they're still trying to figure it out too. Here we go with the call.
Well, Lincoln's not happy with that. I think they are going to do the roughing the kicker.
And such a big difference. If it's running into the kicker, it's an inadvertent penalty, 5 yards. But if it's roughing the kicker, which that's what that was, it's a personal foul against Lincoln. It's going to back them up. More importantly, it's going to give Saints a first down and goal situation instead of a field goal from the 4. They're going to get a first down from the 2.
Well, there you go. St. Augustine have another opportunity here in the strike zone. Hudson's going to hand it off once again. Brought down a lot of pressure on him. I believe that was Sims again. Sims, a bit of their bulldozer. He'll take the hard runs where you just got to plow through bodies.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Sims 1 or 2 more times here as they're just trying to punch this one in at this point.
Yeah, I think they're on the 1 yard line. They're pretty close to it here. See if they go to Sims once again. Hudson, take the snap. Hudson's going to try and put it in himself. It's going to be awful close. It's not clearly in. See where they mark it. Referees, they don't look inclined to call it a touchdown quite yet. I think it's going to be inches short. Yeah, it is. So it looks like it's going to go now to 3rd down. Still about 1 yard to go.
Man, that is maybe not even inches, but like a centimeter or 2. That is right on the line.
You'd have a hard time putting a slice of paper in there between the ball and the end zone. Hudson, opportunity here. He's going to go with it himself once again. I think he is over and in. He has crossed the plane. No ruling on the play. And there it is. It's a touchdown, Saints. Hudson with a gentle stroll into the end zone. 3:40 left on the clock. Saints will go up to 13-7 now over Lincoln.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Point after attempt, up and in. No roughage after that kick. So it's going to be 14-7. Don't want to sell the Hornets short there. 14-7. St. Augustine has taken this game by the horns, John. What did we see on that last drive?
I think we saw a little bit of a gift. They really couldn't get anything going on offense besides that one big run that Preston was able to bust out for about 60 yards before he was run down by the Robinson brothers at about the 4 yard line. But Saints couldn't pick up those 4 extra yards until they went for the field goal, and that field goal kicker, Nick Sinclair, was roughed. And then all you're asking is to get 2 yards in 3 plays. And really just really unfortunate for the Hornets as they put up quite a good defensive stop there. We can actually call it without a couple mistakes. We're seeing a different game here, but instead the Saints up 14-7 here, and this game still is kind of on the bounce. Could go either way, deciding which team kind of pulls this one out here. Least mistakes, I think. Some
discipline issues by the Hornets as well, John. I think that was really the story of those last couple plays there. We saw
right.
You know, the extracurriculars after the whistle, and then the roughing the kicker, which was really, like you said it was a gift wrap basket. Either way, kickoff is underway here. 3:40 left on the clock. Cleanly caught in the backfield by Lincoln. Lincoln's going to make a run of it. Advances it to about the 24-yard line. I think that might have been Mondi who was carrying that ball. Hard to get a look at it either way. Lincoln, a lot of work to do here to catch up with 3:30 left on the clock. 3:34, that is. Get the start from their own 24-yard line.
And Lincoln here, they've actually kind of stuck to their plan about going 50-50 on the ground and through the air, being a little more successful on the ground, save a couple of those passes over the middle to open receivers. If that quarterback can start finding some of his receivers, if Hardman can start finding some guys open, they're going to be tough to stop in the latter part of this half.
Hardman's going to hand this one off. immediately to his right side. Gain of about 4 yards. The second down for the Saints at the 29. Excuse me, Lincoln, not the Saints. Lincoln will be starting at the 29-yard line.
And you gotta think of this drive as the last drive of the half. If you're the Lincoln Hornets, you got just over 3 minutes to go. You want to try to balance out that clock. You don't want to run out of time, but you also don't want to leave the Saints with any time after you hypothetically score that touchdown, get in the end zone. That's your ideal situation right here.
Looking for the pass. He's going deep. Oh, 50-50 ball. Almost anybody could have come up with that ball. Looks like that was a toss-up between Kevin Mitchell and Buncombe. Frank Buncombe, the fourth.
Man, and Buncombe doing a great job of getting position on the wide receiver. Mitchell just, he was kind of in the right spot, but Buncombe was even in a better spot, able to make a play on the ball. And I was pretty surprised he didn't come down with that one, but Mitchell doing actually a good job of kind of playing the defensive back, trying to knock it out of Buncombe's hands at the end of that play there. Still, I think the Hornets got to keep going to the air if they want to put some points up on the board.
Yeah, there's some mismatches size-wise between the defensive backs of the Saints and the receivers of Lincoln. So you think you'd see more of that. Hardman off to the near side before he can even find a handle on it. He's decked. That was Dominic Morgan laying the hit onto Tahan Mondi.
And Morgan doing a great job. I believe that was a cover 2 there where he was playing corner and his job was the flats right there. He came up tight on the wide receiver, who I believe was Tyree Robinson, gave him a little bit of a shove and let him go. And it looked like Hardman thought that he was going to continue running with him, but Morgan sticking with his coverage, staying in the flats and breaking up that play, just doing a little bit of everything there on Morgan. And the senior stepping up here big tonight as he's got a lot of pressure on him with those 2 big wide receivers.
Hardman's in the shotgun. He's going to kick this one away. It's going to roll out at about the 26-yard line.
And fourth down kind of snuck up on us there as they really didn't line up in a punt formation, but just a shotgun. And it was kicked away by Hardman, but decent kick actually. And it's going to put the Saints at the 25 with actually plenty of time left. You really don't want to give the Saints an opportunity to put another one in the end zone and go up by 2 scores.
Yeah, 2:38 left on the clock. That's a lot of time for the Saints to work with. They can go fast. A couple big runs, and they can easily be within the red zone. Still 14-7. Saints have the lead. Hudson, he's going to hand it off to his man, Preston. Preston, he's going to be brought down. Maybe a short gain on that play. Second down. Still right around the 27-yard line will be the Saints.
We've seen the Saints sticking with that run game, especially in the late part of this half. I mean, they've set up the pass so well with all the runs. Look for them maybe at some point in this drive to take a shot downfield.
Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8 for the Saints. Haven't seen much passing from them. They're not going to change that pattern now. They're going to hand it off up the middle. Brought down maybe at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down. I think they will give them no gain on that play. Clock is winding down, though, less than a minute 50.
I believe that was Estevan Rodriguez wrapping up Preston. And Preston kind of looked like he just ran into a brick wall there as Estevan Rodriguez making a good one-on-one tackle on Preston. We haven't really seen a whole lot of tonight because he's so good at evading those defenders and getting out of tough situations.
Hudson's going to go back. He's looking for a pass. Doesn't find anything. Tries to run it up himself. Another short gain. Just like that, it's 4th down now for the Saints.
And this Hornets defense just, whatever they did after that first score for the Saints, they just kind of came out and they've been able to stop them ever since. except for those miscues, those penalties that they've given away in that one other big play. I mean, Saints really can't find any way to get anything going here.
Timeout's taken, so we'll take a quick break. St. Augustine Saints, they're up 14-7 over the home team, Lincoln, the Lincoln Hornets. Down 7, minute 13 left in the first half of play.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information as well as links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Welcome back, Andrew Lockhart alongside John Henry. Minute 13 here at Lincoln High School. Beautiful backdrop of downtown San Diego. Plenty of action here on the field. No need to look at the backdrop. Minute 13 left on the clock. We've seen a great defensive showing from both teams. The Saints are forced into a fourth down. They're going to punt this one away. It's up and it's going to drop right touched at the 45 in Lincoln territory. Decent punt. Minute 12 left on the clock, though. So the Hornets still a chance to sting St. Augustine before halftime, tied this game up.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where you could really take this game by the horns. You want to go into the, I was going to say dugout, into the locker room with at least a tie here. If you're the Hornets, you've got plenty of time. Again, as we mentioned, last drive they had about 3 minutes to score. Now they've got just over a minute, 72 seconds to score. They've got the talent. They've got the guys to do it. Let's see if they can execute here in the last part of this first half.
Gonna have to pick up some big yards quick. That's what Hardsman's looking for. He's got a man open downfield on his knees. Managed to pick it up. Messed that one up. That's Mondi. I was about to call him Monday. Tejan Monday.
And Tejan Mondi just finding a way to get open right up the seam there. I don't know if it was blown coverage or something. Maybe too much attention given to the Robinson twins, but Mondi finding some open yards in a big play.
Hardman, he's looking for a pass again. Man open on the far side. Wrapped up. That's Tyree Robinson, and you're right when you say that the Robinson twins, they draw a lot of attention to themselves. That almost leaves the other receivers a little bit more open than they would otherwise be. We're going to have another timeout taken here. 54 and a half seconds left on the clock. St. Augustine Saints, they're still up 14-7 over the Lincoln Hornets.
PlayOn Sports is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Lincoln's in a 2nd down and 6 yards to go situation. They're at the 24-yard line. So only a little bit more to go to tie this one up. Problem is they only have under a minute to do so. Saw Mondi make a great catch. Follow that up with Tyree Robinson for a shorter gain. Now standing at the 24. Time to make a couple plays, I believe. We'll see how they handle it. Hardman has been good with the pass the last few downs. Looks to the near side, deep into the end zone, and that one is caught. Was he in bounds? I believe he was. We'll wait for the call. It's in. An incredible pass from Hardman. My goodness, what a catch. That was served up on a dinner plate, John.
And was that Kevon Mitchell on the reception, number 12? Is that correct?
I think that was Murphy, Jay-Sean Murphy.
Oh, Murphy, okay.
No, excuse me. Let's have a better look.
We're trying to get the number there, folks.
No, you're right. That was Kevin Mitchell.
Number
12. Kevon Mitchell.
Man, what a play. The defender was all over him. It seemed like he had nowhere to go. All of a sudden, he goes up just an inch higher and pulls the ball down. What an athletic play, and what a huge turn of events here as we're tied. And we still got plenty of time left in this first half for the Saints, but Hornets back doing a great job of driving down the field.
Mitchell, what a catch. You're right, John. He had coverage on him. Almost manages to make a blind over-the-shoulder catch. What a pass. Well executed, to say the least, by Lincoln. All tied up 14-14.
Tonight's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit their website at www.cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also, see CPC on the St. Augustine team page on PlayOnSports.com and click on the CPC icon on the left of that page. Online print buying has never been this easy.
Lincoln all tied up going into half. Still 46 seconds left on the clock. Lincoln had about a minute to work with when they gained possession of the ball. They said, we'll pass on that. We'll take about 20 seconds to put that into the end zone. Tie it up. Some great passing. Kick is off. It's going to be low, and it's going to bounce to about the 15, but a good amount of speed coming out of the backfield before he's brought down. He loses his cap, actually.
Dominique Morgan trying to make something happen all by himself as he had a head of steam coming through, busting through a big hole on the coverage team. But Tejan Mondi doing work as a wide receiver and doing work there on the tackle, number 11 for the Hornets, bringing down number 3 Dominic Morgan at the 40, and it's gonna give the Saints just 38 seconds to drive. It's about 60 yards down the field.
Good play by Mondi bringing down his man. Morgan had a lot of steam in his freight train there. Hudson back on the field. Quick pass to the far side. That was over to Preston. Quick out by Preston. He's going to pick up about 5 yards. It's going to be second down. They're at about the 44-yard line. 30 seconds left on the clock, though. Not a whole lot of time for the Saints to work with. You know, they'd love to go into half with another score. Looks like they're going to take a timeout here, stop that clock. We'll take a quick break here, too.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Saints going to take the field once again. Didn't take them long to figure out what they were going to do here. I think they just wanted to stop that clock. 30.2 seconds left, all wrapped up. 14 all. It's going to be 2nd and 6 for the Saints. Defense of Lincoln's been very competent. Second quarter of play. Early on, we saw 2 scores put up by St. Augustine. However, they've managed to play shutdown after that. So the Saints have it here. Hudson's going to go back. Looks right up the middle of the field, right by the Hornet logo. As caught by Hamill. Hamill brought down at about the 46-yard line. And that's in Lincoln territory, so they're across the midfield marker here. That'll lead up. 21.9 seconds are left, so a little bit of clock gone. Looks like we're going to have another timeout taken, this time by Lincoln. Take another quick break.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information as well as links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
St. Augustine. It's a big game for them. It's the last game of this season. They're looking to hold on to the reins of that Division IV title. This is the deal maker for them. Lincoln, they're also looking to maintain a spot in the Eastern League. Big game, both sides all tied up. It's been an exciting one. We're going to keep this one going here. Saints offense back on the field. JoJo Hudson been a quarterback all night. He has a man in motion behind him. It's Dominic Morgan. Hudson's going to hand it off to Preston. A lot of players drawn away on that handoff, and Preston will get a pretty good run up the middle. He's going to get taken down at about the 39-yard line, so it's going to be second down. And they're going to be placed at the 40, actually, and we're going to have another quick timeout. We'll just keep going through this one, John. So what have you seen on this drive? What do you like about either side?
Well, I mean, the Hornets are continuing to keep the Saints offense almost stalled. You see Coach Sanchez pulling out a little bit of trickery there as he sent a man in motion. Looked like they were going to set up for the far side screen, wide receiver screen, instead handing it off to Wilson. But Lincoln Hornets not fooled, sticking to their coverages and their assignments. And Preston, he started running, he hit the hole, and then he had nowhere to go. Good defensive coverage by the Hornets.
Saints 14.5 seconds left to work with. First half of play almost over with. Hudson gets a good block. Manages to scrape by him, though. Looks like that was Lincoln's Tyrell Robinson. Robinson brothers certainly making their presence felt out on the field. Manages to sack JoJo Hudson, and that's going to wrap up the final play here in the first half of the game. St. Augustine Saints, they maintain a 14-14 lead over the Lincoln Hornets, and we're going to take a break for halftime here. We're going to bring you a halftime show coming up in a few minutes here on PlayOnSports.com. It's again 14-14 all here at Lincoln High School. Lincoln Hornets tied up with St. Augustine Saints 14-14. Back in a moment here on PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from Lincoln High School here in San Diego, California. I'm Andrew Lockhart alongside John Henry. Our halftime score is 14-14. The St. Augustine Saints and the Lincoln Hornets, they're all tied up. John, we saw kind of a wishy-washy first quarter of play, second quarter of play, all the scoring, and then we ended up all tied up at the half. What happened?
Well, a ton of stuff happened out there. I think
things, huh?
Yeah, one or two things might have happened. But the Saints, for them, it's been a little bit of, they've been making a lot of key mistakes, not those little mistakes, a 5-yard penalty here and there, but, you know, a fumble at the 1-yard line, a dropped punt that gave the Hornets great field position going the other way. And these kind of big mistakes, the Hornets have, and that's the other thing, they haven't even really capitalized on it, but that's the difference in this game. It could be 28-14 Saints. Instead, it's 14-14 because the Saints have kind of shot themselves in the foot with some bigger penalties. Yeah,
and those little moments, they've been costly, for both sides. I'll give you a rundown on the scoring here. To open it up was a 29-yard run from Sims to put the Saints up 7-0. Robinson, that was Tyree Robinson. He had that punt return, put his team up 7-7, all tied. JoJo Hudson, he had that 1-yard power drive right up the middle to go into the end zone, 14-7 Saints. Then a 20-yard pass to Mitchell. Mitchell, the receiver on that play, that tied it up at 14 all. All the point after attempts have been good here. The punting has been something of note as well for Lincoln. That's a bit unusual.
Yeah, I mean, they forced St. Augustine to turn the ball over once when number 3, Dominic Morgan, was just going to catch it, and he couldn't quite hold on to it. It was knocked free by Jamisi Charles and Tyshawn Whiting coming in and covering the ball up and giving it back to Lincoln. And then on the other side, as they were receiving, we see one of the Robinson twins, Tyree Robinson this time, as you mentioned, with a big score on a punt, just taking it to the house with his speed and athleticism.
Yeah, and you know, something going into this game, we were talking to Coach David Dunn of Lincoln. He said he didn't want to see any turnovers. He knew it was going to be a physical game, and he thought there was going to be a little bit of a mismatch up there with the receivers. We haven't really seen that mismatch be an issue here, John.
Yeah, the St. Augustine secondary, mainly Dominic Morgan, has done a great job of shutting down here on the near side. I think he was covering most of the time that first half. It was either Tyree Robinson or his brother, Tyrell Robinson, just doing a good job. But at the same time, Hardman, for the quarterback, was able to give the ball to guys like Mondi and Mitchell and spread the love, you know, if you're going to put it that way, and being able to put some points on the board, just going to so many different targets.
Like we mentioned earlier in this game, a lot at stake for both teams. The Eastern League title is up for grabs, not to mention St. Augustine. They're trying to stay on top of Division 4. So either way, a tight game, some big outcomes, that is, on the line. And that was going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. We'll be back with more Friday Night Football in just a few moments here on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot at this.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
You're watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Friday Night Football. Live from San Diego, California, I'm Andrew Lockhart alongside John Henry. St. Augustine Saints are going to be kicking off from the left side of your screen towards the right. Lincoln, they're in green and black. They're going to be returning from the right to the left. A run off the kickoff is going to be put at about the 35-yard line. That's where Lincoln's going to get their start. As I mentioned, both teams neck and neck. We're getting a clean slate here in the second half of play. Both teams looked a little bit off offensively, John, but defensively, I think both sides have been stellar.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many kind of unforced errors on the offensive side of the ball, and really neither team has been able to get some kind of momentum, some sustained drive going where they've been able to punch into the end zone without any major mishaps. And I think that's going to be the story to the second half is which offense can make less mistakes and who can execute on that side of the ball.
Hartman's going to hand it off. There's a big run developing here. One move, he's got a couple guys on his back. Certainly the wind was to his back there. That was Jay-Sean Murphy with a huge run to lead off the second half of play. Puts his team all the way at St. Augustine's 24-yard line.
And we mentioned how both defenses were doing so well at being able to kind of contain all the talent that's on the other side of the ball in both cases. And there, Jay-Sean Murphy just able to bust that one through the big hole up the near sideline. And that's exactly what you need if you're the Hornets. Let's get into the end zone. Let's get this thing started, and let's get this game finished.
Hartman's going to start in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off once again to Murphy. Murphy's going to drive all the way to the 10-yard line. Holy smokes, this has turned out to be a heck of a drive for Lincoln, and Lincoln fans are getting into it.
And for Murphy, too. I mean, huge plays there coming out of the locker room. And if it wasn't for that shoestring tackle by Kyle Daly for the Saints, that one's going into the end zone.
Well, these are some of the plays we just did not see in the first half of play, and now they're coming out swinging. Lincoln making a big showing early on here in the second half. 11 minutes left on the clock. Third quarter of play. Hartman's going to take the snap, not in the shotgun this time. Murphy all wrapped up. I think the Saints said, we're not letting him get away with that one again. Brought down by about 4 different men.
It was almost like that they just woke up. It's like, oh, the second half started. Let's start playing.
Oh, yeah, football.
Oh, yeah. And it was interesting to watch both teams come out of the locker room. The Saints kind of came out, 4 minutes before the half started, and then just about 2 minutes before the clock ran down, we see the Hornets come out, and their fans are cheering for them. They're kind of sprinting out, trying to pump up the fans, and just a little different vibe from the coming out of the locker room, and you're seeing it here translate onto the field early for the Hornets.
Hardman, handoff deep back, making a lateral move. Can't come up with a play, though. It's going to go to third down now, and a loss of a couple yards on that play.
Senior number 36, Patrick Lavelle for the Saints, playing linebacker all game tonight, and he did a great job in pursuit there, sticking with that running back and the play and making the tackle there, which holds the Hornets, way outside of the end zone, and they're going to have a big play here in their hands if they want to get in the end zone.
And they're looking for that big play. It is 3rd and goal. So they're going to need something big here into the end zone. There's a pass is up, tipped. Could not be held onto by either player. Another one of those 50-50 balls. Seen a couple passes like that from Lincoln. It was like Kayvon Mitchell who we saw come up with a big touchdown pass earlier. Saints player couldn't come up with it either. So now 4th down.
And we've seen on the extra points that the Hornets have put in, kicker Diego Martinez putting it well through the uprights. So I don't think this one's going to be much of an issue for him.
No, it's a bit of a short-range field goal. Up. Plenty of spiral on it. It's going to drift between the uprights. So, excuse me, no good. I thought that was through, John.
Yeah.
I think my eyes deceived me.
Well, with that spin, it can only go up. That's why it had so much spin. It was a little higher kicked than it needed to be, and went above the uprights. We couldn't really tell from this angle if it went through or not. It certainly looked like it did, and most of the Lincoln fans, even the PA announcer, thought it went in. But unfortunately for Lincoln, they're not able to get any points on the board and take the lead early in the second half.
If it fooled the PA guy, I feel a little less bad. By the way, Saints going to have a turnover. And they're going to pick it up right around the 20-yard line. So they're pinned a little bit deep. Let's see what they can do here. The first offensive drive of the second half of play. Looks like they're going to go with a run. It's going to be stopped short of any significant gain there. Looks like that was Preston again.
And I like that the Saints are sticking with that run game. Elijah Preston, who's been so successful picking up 4 or 5 yards each time there, only picking up 1 or 2. But the Saints sticking with Elijah Preston in the second half.
See JoJo Hudson once again. He's been the quarterback here at the Saints all season. Handed off once again. Trying to go up a little towards the far side of the screen. Couldn't find any room up that way, though.
I believe that was Sims, the other freshman, who's gotten a few carries tonight. Give Preston a little bit of a break. But bringing up a 3rd down. The Hornets doing a good job so far. Again, of holding the Saints offense. Really can't get anything going in this first drive.
Now Lincoln, despite a good offensive drive, also putting up a strong defensive hold to complement that. So it's 3rd and 7 now, about 8 minutes left on the clock. JoJo Hudson, he's going deep. He's looking for a pass. Connects with a man. I think he's going to be brought down short of the first. Might be close. He needed to connect to the 30-yard line. They're going to stop him at the 28. It's going to be 4th down now. don't think the Saints are going to want to go for it in a situation like this. I think they got a lot more to lose than they do have to gain.
You'd think so, and at this point, it looks like they're sticking with their offensive unit out there. Just a little screenplay on that last one to Tim Chapman, who couldn't quite get anything going. The Hornets doing a good job of snuffing that one out and sticking with their marks. It's going to bring up fourth, and they're going to go for it here, Andrew.
Risky play call by the Saints, but they're going for it. They got Hudson et al. Still out there, and there's a flag out on the play. And that's going to be a delay of game, so that'll be 5 yards against the Saints. Couldn't get that play off in time. I think that will force the punt here. Yeah, they are going to switch units.
Really, in a game like this where there's been so few mistakes, you can't afford to decide to go for it only to realize that, oh, shoot, we don't have enough time to run this play. And, you know, maybe that was part of the plan to get out there and see if Lincoln was going to have any mismatches or anything like that where they could exploit. But they're maybe taking the 5-yard penalty on purpose. Not a huge difference in the game of field position, but either way, they're back to punt.
Punt's off. It's a bit of a long one. Low, though. Player chasing after it. It's Tyree Robinson in the backfield. Manages to come up with it. Robinson's so dangerous, and you see him make a jog over to the 44-yard line. Managed to turn that punt around real quick. You bring up an interesting point of strategy there, John. If you're in that kind of field position and you make it appear as if you're going to go for it on fourth down, you can try and induce a penalty on the defensive side, and at that point pick up the first.
Without really risking anything.
I mean, because he only lost 5 yards position on the punt.
Yeah, I
maybe.
think that's Coach Sanchez over there in his wily veteran ways. We've seen him call a few interesting plays tonight, but throughout the season he's got all the tricks up his sleeve, and
that would be a trick.
It wouldn't be surprised.
Harden with the handoff. It's like he's trying to punch through right up the gut there. I don't think that's going to go anywhere, though. Pick up about 2 yards. It'll be second down now for Lincoln. Lincoln with that strong drive on the last possession that they had. Looks like a Saints player is down, though, and he looks like he's in a deal of pain there. That's Derek Vieira. So we'll go ahead and take an injury timeout here. Back in a moment here on PlayOnSports.com.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Vieira escorted off the field with a little bit of help. I think he's favoring his right leg, maybe his left. I didn't get a real good look at it. Either way, we hope he is okay as he gets off the field. Lincoln still with possession of the ball. It is second down. 8 yards to go for them. 7 minutes on the clock still.
And coming in to replace Vieira is going to be Daniel Ramirez, the sophomore, who hasn't seen too much action this year, but he's getting a chance there at nose guard to make something happen here on the Saints defense.
Hartman, he was in the shotgun. He faked a handoff, pass off to the near side. And I believe, I had to look at it, that was almost a fumble induced. That was Robert DeCourt, who just had a big wallop of a hit into him. They ruled it down before he fumbled it, though, but that was awful close, John.
Yeah, senior Robert DeCourt, he's someone that you don't miss when he's coming at you. The 6'4", 200-pound linebacker who typically plays on both sides of the ball when that Saints offense is working. It's going to DeCourt and Dixon as the tight ends, and when that defense is working, you got the outside linebackers and D linemen, DeCourt and Dixon on both sides of the ball. So fun to watch, and DeCourt with a big hit there, breaking up that play.
Certainly didn't miss that hit. I'm sure that registered with him. Hardman prefers the shotgun. Takes a long look. Good pass off. Picked up right before he hits the ground. And that's a clean catch right there. They'll call it. It's Ton Mondi. Big pickup from him. We've seen him make a couple big passes for Lincoln.
Yeah, and that's not an easy pass to catch. They're a little low. He had to come back for it, readjust his route, but he had the space. He had just enough time to scoop up that ball, get his arms under it, make a very athletic play around that near sideline here and pick up the first down.
So they'll have the first down at 35-yard line of the Saints. Lincoln still has possession. They're going to hand it off. No way Jose on that play. Brought right back down on the ball. That was Murphy, who we saw make a couple well-spirited runs earlier in this quarter.
And the Saints defense doing a good job on the run now on this drive, but can't quite handle those big talented wide receivers in Mondi, Mitchell, and the Robinson twins so far. As the quarterback, Ian Hardman, who is a senior, but we didn't mention in talking to Coach Dunn earlier, he's only 16 years old, and as a senior, you're asking a lot from a 16-year-old. Most of the guys out there are 18 in this latter half of their senior year.
That's a good point. Now 13 yards to go on second down. That ball slapped out of the hands of Hardman. Saints defense, they're going to rule that an incomplete pass too, but the Saints defense is really picking it up a notch here, John.
Yeah, and that was DeCourt again getting his big hand on that pass. Just we've seen it a lot in the NFL, and they talked about it a lot this past weekend. But a lot of linemen these days are reading the quarterback a little better, and they're sticking with those blocks and trying to get pressure, obviously. But when they realize the quarterback is getting ready to pass the ball, they pick up their eyes, see where he's trying to pass it, and if it's coming their way, they try to get some hands on it. We saw last weekend a couple of interceptions by linemen that were returned for some good yardage or touchdowns in the NFL, and it's got to translate down to the high school level.
Hardman, he's got a lot of pressure on him. He's got one leg wrapped up, manages to get off the pass, though. It's caught and brought down. Holy smokes, that was Tyree Robinson managing to take a broken play and make something of it, though. They are going to be in fourth down. That's not going to be enough for the first.
Man, but credit Hardman there. He
hung with it, yeah.
He had, again, number 88, Robert DeCourt, hanging on his leg as he was able to get that pass off just before DeCourt's kind of partner in crime, Patrick Dixon, came in and cleaned out Hardman, the quarterback. Man, way to stay in there, though, and pick up those yards. And, hey, you look at this. Looks like they're going to go for it here, the Hornets on fourth down.
Yeah, and they had the problem with the field goal from a little shorter range than this before, so they opt to go for it here. Hardman's not in the shotgun. He's got three guys behind him. Hands it off. It's going to go to Murphy. Murphy with a man on his leg gets wrapped up. He's not going to be able to make it. Another turnover in Saints territory. Just like that, Lincoln is stopped once again.
Defensive back Kyle Daly coming in. He realized there's no wide receivers to cover on the outside, so he kind of came in to the inside part of the play. A little out of position. He's not usually in there, but coming up big, grabbing onto the leg of the running back and taking him down. And that's a huge play for the Saints defense as they get first down now.
Another offensive drive with a lot of promises stopped by the Saints defense. 5:30 left on the clock. Still stalemate here at 14 all. Handoff. That was to Preston once again. He's brought down on the near side. Maybe a short gain on that play. I think they'll give him 2 yards.
And as well as both defenses are playing this evening, especially at this point in the game, if they can continue to do this, we might see no more scores on the offensive side and maybe a pick six or something from one of these talented DBs. But I think it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be a big play. It could be on the defensive side of the ball. That's the decisive one in this one.
It's been a tight game, certainly not off the script for St. Augustine. Hudson fakes a handoff, finds a receiver, though. We haven't seen Hudson make many passing plays, and his man goes far down the field. My gosh, what a play. That was Ryan Herberger. Managed to pick up a huge gain for the Saints. We haven't seen many big plays like that from the Saints. They get one there.
And that's exactly what you need if you're the Saints, to pick up some kind of big yardage, feed off that play, feed off this momentum here, and keep this drive going, because man, one big play here and there isn't going to do it unless you're going to get into the end zone, and you got to have some little supporting positive yardage plays to figure this drive out.
They'll get their start at the opposing 32. First down for the Saints. 4:40 left on the clock. Oop, that's going to go against Lincoln. They went a little too early.
And there's that hard count from JoJo Hudson. pulling the defense off sides, but an easy 5-yard pickup for the Saints. And at this point, I feel like maybe you shoot for the end zone. You try to isolate one of your wide receivers with a one-on-one coverage and go for it. We see on the near side here, Tim Chapman, number 6, one of the favorite wide receivers for Hudson. Maybe he shoots out to him in the corner. I don't know.
Momentum certainly on St. Augustine's side. We've seen Lincoln make an error right there. I think you could get a quick touchdown here if you opt for it. Hudson, he goes deep, and that's exactly what it looks like they're going to do, and he's into the end zone. Hudson with a touchdown pass. St. Augustine's going to break the tie. They're going to go up to 20 points now over Lincoln's 14.
And I want to be sure we get this number correct, but I want to say, could it be number 88 again, Robert DeCourt, or is that number 85, Patrick Dixon? I really can't tell.
You know, I thought it was Dixon. Don't quote me on that.
It is. You're right. Patrick Dixon, come with a big play, and not to mention a one-handed grab, just a quick seam right over the middle, and he's able to take it into the end zone for his 5th touchdown of the year. Patrick Dixon.
Yeah, what a catch by Dixon. And on top of that, he had a man on him. He had to break through, and he managed to just drive into the end zone. And point after attempt is going to be good. So now the Saints are up 21-14. 4:30 left in the third quarter of play.
Tonight's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-top printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit their website at www.cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also, see CPC on the St. Augustine team page on PlayOnSports.com. Click on the CPC icon of the left of that page. Online print buying has never been this easy.
And you called it, John. You said, I think they should just shoot for the end zone here. It's exactly what they did. I think they heard you. They fired it off right to Dixon. Dixon ran it all the way to the end zone.
And even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. I'll take credit for that nut there, because I really usually don't get those right, but I'll take credit for that one as Dixon finds the end zone. Huge play for the Saints. They needed something to get this offense going.
Yeah, someone had to break the ice here in the second half. St. Augustine comes out on top. Kick is up. It's going to land right around the 1-yard line. Great kick from St. Augustine. They're going to run it out, though, and go all the way to the 26, maybe the 25. Great return there. That was Tyree Robinson once again. A lot of speed from those Robinson brothers. So Lincoln now looking to answer back, John. 4:22 left in the third quarter. What do you think they're going to do here? Maybe something different or more of what we've seen?
Well, we've seen them not get too much going with the running game thus far, besides those first 2 plays from scrimmage in this half. I don't know. I mean, they've done really well with the running game. Here more recently, it's been a little stalled, so maybe change it up and go to the air a little more as we see trips to the near side lined up for the Hornets.
Yeah, their last 2 drives, they came close but got no cigar. Hartman's going to hand it off here, and he's going to find a hole. Going to get dropped right around the 35.
I believe that was Daniel Edwards, number 31, coming out of the backfield. And last week he had a 79-yard score, which is the top of the league for rushing touchdowns. It's the longest one this year so far for the Eastern League. And so he's got that ability too. I mean, you got so many weapons on that side of the ball. Saints are doing a good job covering everyone.
Might need to take a bit of a breather after a 79-yard run.
What was last week? So I think
he might have recovered
good.
by now.
Maybe. They're young,
3:40 left on the clock. Hartman's going to be in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off once again. Brought down, though. I think that's going to go for a loss, actually. The 3rd down now. Lincoln not looking as sharp on this drive as they have previously.
That was Edwards again, just stood up right at the line. 3 or 4 Saintsmen getting in there into the backfield as he looks like he lost a yard. Not what you want going into this 3rd down, is to be moving backwards.
No, they're going to need something big. It is 3rd and 4, so not long for the 1st down. And looks like he's going to try and take it himself. It's going to be awful close to the first. And I think they're actually going to mark that over the first. Yep, and they will move the chain, so it's going to be first down now for Lincoln. Quarterback Hardman just takes that ball himself.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many plays designed for Hardman to take it and use his legs to pick up any kind of yardage, but one of the first ones there successful, caught Saints a little off guard, and Hardman making a couple people miss, more importantly picking up that first and keeping this drive alive.
Good run by Hardman. Solid yardage, and he's going to hand this one off to Edwards. Edwards is going to break through a couple men there, break a couple tackles, pick up about 6 yards on the run. It's going to be second down. 2:20 left in the third quarter of play here. Still down by 7 points. Lincoln has possession of the ball.
And Edwards looked like he was stopped with a 1 or 2 yard gain, kept those legs motoring. You saw him kind of throwing tacklers off of his arms and off of his legs as he picked up an extra 5 or 6 yards. Great running there by the junior Daniel Edwards.
Last couple of plays has been golden for Lincoln. See if they can follow that up here. And they go to Edwards once again. Edwards, he's going to get stopped, though, right around the line of scrimmage. He might have actually lost a yard on that. Saints, good job reading that running play. Got a $1:40 left on the clock. Still in the third quarter of play. Lincoln, a good couple plays. I think the Saints caught up with them, though, on that play. Still anybody's game. Plenty of football left and a lot on the line here in the final game of the regular season.
And whether or not, you know, if you win this game, you're in second place for the league, but you want to win the last game of the season going into playoffs, so you're on kind of a run and have some momentum going into the playoffs.
Deep pass, perhaps an interference could have been called. Referees will not bite at it, though. Hardman looks like he was going deep. The intended receiver was Tyree Robinson. Robinson, it looks like he was tripping a little bit at the end there. Guess the referees found that it was on his own. No penalties against the Saints on that play. It's going to be fourth down now. 6 yards to go.
I think again on that coverage, Dominic Morgan doing a good job. He actually had position because that ball was a little bit underthrown. It's hard to lead Tyree Robinson with his speed, but a little underthrown. He had to come back for it. A little bit of contact, but just good football contact there. Incidental, no flag, brings up fourth, like you said.
Lincoln's not in a punting position. The play's going to be whistled dead, though. So I think that's going to be against Lincoln, and yes, it is.
I think they took a little too long getting up to that line of scrimmage. Maybe trying to draw something up a little too complex. And it might have been a timeout. Can't tell exactly, but the teams are huddling up on the sides.
Yep, that's going to be the old timeout trick. So it's me a minute left. Yeah. Classic football. Minute and 2 seconds left on the clock. Down 7 points still. Lincoln trying to cook something up here. Might need some offensive magic to come up with this. It's fourth down. Got 6 yards to go.
And they've had really no problem picking up six yards, going to, a quick slant, a quick seam to one of their outside receivers, even spreading them out and getting the Saints defense spread out, being able to run up the middle. They've got a few options here. It'll be interesting to see what they go with. Put it in the hands of one of the Robinson twins who can make something happen, or one of your other wide receivers, Mondi or Mitchell. Quarterback keeper like we saw last third down. I mean, so many options here as a coach. Gotta be excited to call this one, because this is the one that matters, Pull out all the stops for 4th and 4.
Certainly either of the Robinsons could make any sort of magic happen here. We'll see what kind of concoction Lincoln can come up with. Got Hardman on the shotgun. He usually is. Looks like he's going for a pass. Overthrown. That's not what Lincoln was looking for. His intended receiver was Tyree Robinson. Robinson went up for it. Not a short guy either. That ball just up and through his hands, overthrown. Bad break for Lincoln. Saints, they're going to pick this one up, and not bad field position either.
And I think Hardman on that last throw, you mentioned he overthrew it, but I think he literally tried to throw it too hard and overthrew it, just kind of slipped out of his hand and just sailed on him, unfortunately for Lincoln, because Tyree Robinson was open. He had a few yards to work with if he catches that ball.
Turnover on downs to the Saints. They command a 7-point lead at this point in the game. Less than a minute left in the third quarter of play. Saints are going to hand it off to Preston. Once again, Preston going to try and make it through the trenches there right up the middle. He's going to get stopped right around the line of scrimmage. And he'll actually pick up a yard on that. So it'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Saints. Saints, 40 seconds left on the clock. That's not going to be up there for long. I think they'll have to get this one off before the third quarter winds down. That is exactly what they are going to do. So JoJo Hudson takes the snap here, gives it to Preston once again. Preston accelerates so quickly, brought down heavily, I should say, by Lincoln. It looks like that was Cisneros. Also, actually, I'll just give that one to Cisneros, bringing down Preston hard on the play. We have no seconds left in the third quarter play, so we're going to turn this one over to the other side of the field. Lincoln, they're still trailing by 7, 21-14, St. Augustine's favor. John, it's been a low-scoring second half. I think we could have predicted that from how the play was going in the first half. I'll tell you that this is not following the script for for St. Augustine. St. Augustine, I got the impression, speaking to people down on the field, that they thought they had the advantage in this game and that they just wanted to get a quick early scores up on the board, put this game out of reach for Lincoln because they knew Lincoln had some dangerous guys. But we see it only one-score game right now. What's going on?
Yeah, I think we'll go back to that first half and look at the miscues from the Saints. A botched, fumbled punt return, fumble at the 1-yard line as they're knocking at the door, trying to break into the end zone, and letting on a punt. The Hornets return their punt for the touchdown. I mean, that's basically a 14-point swing right there, just on 2 mental errors. And that's kind of the difference in this game here. The Saints playing a great game, Lincoln playing a great game, and they're kind of stepping it up because all of a sudden they can see that they've got a chance here. And Coach Dunn calls this one a little personal grudge match from last year, and that's exactly how the guys are playing out there for the Hornets.
St. Augustine seemed worried that Lincoln would be able to hang in there with them, and it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. Hudson fakes a handoff. He's going to pass this one off near side. Plenty of room for the run. He's going to go all the way in, almost unopposed at that point. That was Tim Chapman.
Tim Chapman doing a great job on the receiver screen. Looks like Patrick Dixon came to the near side, and he was the only man blocking for Chapman. Chapman able to be a little patient and then juke out the defender. And then Robert DeCourt coming in and cleaning up shop. Cleaning out the Hornets. I'm not sure whose bell he rung, but he got a good hit on one of the Hornets, and that finished off the run for Saints.
Point after attempt is good. So it's going to be 28-14 now in the Saints' favor. They're up over Lincoln. 11:42 left in the fourth quarter play.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Chapman's certainly the recipient of some good blocks on his run to the end zone. I don't think anybody would argue with that because Chapman almost looked like he had a straight path in, even though there was some Lincoln presence back there. So Chapman puts up a touchdown. St. Augustine Saints, they're starting to inch away with this game. Up 14 points now over Lincoln.
And it's so tough. If you're the Saints, you kind of feel like you have a little bit of breathing room right here, up 14, as you mentioned, 2 scores. But at the same time, you could watch one play go by, and all of a sudden you're only up 7 points with this offensive kind of firepower that Lincoln has. All they need to do is break free, just get a few extra yards here and there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they bust one in this next drive here. Try to catch the Saints off guard, because you don't want to go down 3 scores, 21 points to Saints late in this game.
Kickoff is deep. Caught right at the 1 yard line, almost the automatic touchback there. Brought out anyway, though. I believe that was Tyree Robinson.
Wouldn't be surprised.
He's usually the man back there, and with that kind of speed, I have to assume that was him. He brings it out past the 20-yard line from the 1 in just a matter of 2-3 seconds, which is incredible.
And the impressive part is when you watch him run, I know you mentioned it a few times on a couple of runs he had, it looks like he's jogging. I mean, you watch the poise and kind of the fluidness that he runs with. He's so fun to watch, and it doesn't look like he's trying to run that quickly. And then you look at the white shirts trying to chase him down, and they're doing everything they can to get him, and they can't because he's so quick.
I think he's got those long dancer legs. It's like he's on stilts.
Something like that, yeah.
Hardman in the shotgun once again, looking to pass that one off. He gets wrapped up, though, his arm not able to get off the throw, and he's brought down for a sack. Another sack from the Saints. They're doing a great job applying pressure to Hardman.
I believe that was Patrick Dixon on the sack, grabbing that arm of Hardman. And if you're a lineman trying to take down the quarterback and you've got one hand free to grab something, go for that arm, because without being able to use that arm, Hardman really can't do anything with the ball.
Loss of yardage. It's going to be second down now. Scoreboard says 16 yards to go. 11 minutes left on the clock. Uh-oh. That snap was too hard to handle there for Hardman. It's going to drop to the ground. He's going to fall on top of it, though. That's going to go for another loss of yards, that is. It's going to be third down, long ways to go. Not the kind of drive that Lincoln wanted to get back into this game.
No, and that's really all it takes is that one little miscue. Too hot to handle on the snap. We haven't mentioned it, but that shotgun position is so tough. You're relying on your center every time to put that ball right there, and he's done such a great job all game. That's the first kind of mishandled snap that we've seen, and now they're in a tough position, backed up against their own end zone.
Hudson gets the throw off down the middle, picked up, found his man, a bullet pass right there.
Great catch by Tyrell Robinson. Easy little post route coming from the far side, kind of sitting right in that middle, that soft spot in between the safeties. And Hardman doing a good job of finding him right there.
Absolutely. It's going to be just short of the first down, though, so it's going to be 4th and 2. And they're going to go for it here. I think in this situation, that's exactly what you want to do. Hardman again in the shotgun, and he is sniffed out. He faked a pass, couldn't get it off, and he is brought down, and that's going to be another turnover to the Saints on downs. 9:34 left on the clock. Saints are still up 28-14 over Lincoln.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you highlights and news and information about high school. Follow us on PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Hopefully information about high school sports.
Just information about high school in general.
Everybody's favorite period of their life, high school.
Yes, and Andrew, it is just about high school sports.
Thanks, John. Timeout taken. It's by the Saints, so we're going to take another quick break. Go ahead, John.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
So we're at 28-14. St. Augustine Saints, they pick up the turnover on downs. Lincoln's had a lot of problems converting those fourth downs. They've gone for it a couple times the last few drives. It has not worked out for them. And now St. Augustine sitting in pretty good field position. Up 2 scores, 9:34 left on the clock in the fourth. You know, some teams playing in this situation, 2 scores is enough that you just write them off. These are 2 teams that I think they're neck and neck in this. I wouldn't write it off so quickly. Hand off to Preston down the far side of the field. He's got plenty of room, and with speed like that, he's going to go straight into the end zone. Oh, we have a problem on the field. Penalty marker was called. I think some aggressiveness on Lincoln's part. Player on St. Augustine, that's Ben Pierkowski. He lost his helmets, I think, from the extracurricular on the play there. 9:27 on the clock.
And Pierkowski, the center for St. Augustine all year, been so solid. I mean, it's almost like we never call his name because as a center, if we're calling your name, it's usually because you're a botched snap or missed assignment or something, but we never call his name because he does his job so well in front of that quarterback, JoJo Hudson. And he got caught up a little bit in the trenches there, but either way, it's going to be a score for Preston and the Saints.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's the sign of a good center if you don't have to call his name.
Right.
It's a subtle game on their part. Point after attempt. It's going to be up, and it's going to be through. So we're looking at a 35-14 score. St. Augustine Saints, they lead the Lincoln Hornets 35-14, 9:27 left in the fourth quarter of play.
Tonight's game is brought to you by California Printing Consultants, your one-stop printing source for all of your printing needs. Call CPC toll-free at 866-484-4039 or visit their website at www.cpcfirst.net for your next printing project. Also, see CPC on the San Diego team page on PlayOnSports.com. Click on the CPC icon on the left of that page. Online print buying has never been this easy.
Well, just as I was saying that Lincoln was not out of this game gets a little bit further out of reach. Down 3 touchdowns now, 9:27 in the fourth remaining. 35-14 is the score. St. Augustine Saints, they're up over Lincoln.
And a guy like Preston, who's been really working his butt off, he's touching the ball probably more than 50% of the time for this Saints offense, finally getting some recognition there, getting a big touchdown. It's his first score of the night and his 8th on the year. Just exactly what he deserves. I mean, he touches the ball so many times, and it doesn't really get the reward a lot of the times, but he does on that drive for the Saints. And as you mentioned, putting this one a little bit out of reach as the Hornets here are running out of time for the comeback.
Assessing the penalty, the Saints will be kicking off from Lincoln's own 45-yard line. It's obviously an opportunity here just to set up a touchback. It is the automatic touchback in high school football, of course. We'll see what happens, though. If you can keep it out of the hands of Tyree Robinson, I think you're doing a good job if you're the kicker on the Saints, because obviously Robinson is a force. So swift. Kickoff is up. It's a tall one, and it's almost going to clear the uprights a little bit towards the left-hand side, so that will be the touchback. And Lincoln will get their start at the 20-yard line.
Good kickoff there by Nick Sinclair, who's been so solid on the field goals and the kickoffs for the Saints. We've seen him a few times tonight kick it just about to the 1-yard line, which makes it so tough for any receiving or any returning team, even the Hornets, with those talented return men to bring that out. And they've really done a good job, the coverage team for the Saints, pinning the Hornets back at the 20, 25-yard line for each drive.
Lincoln obviously looking to step it up big here. Got some ground to cover. There's Hardman. Still looking for the throw. Gets it off, and it's caught in his hands. See if they're going to rule it a catch, and they will not. It looks like he was out of bounds. Yep, that's what they're going to say. Intended receiver. Sorry, it was Kayvon Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell, man, I didn't even think he had a chance to get into that ball, and he did. And if we had that HD 2,000 frames per second zoom, we could zoom in on the blades to see if he was able to scrape one of those toes in bounds, because that would have been a huge play for Lincoln. Just a impressive catch as it was, and it was pretty close, keeping his feet in bounds.
I thought we did have that HD.
Oh, do we? Oh.
I brought it from home. Penalty marker out on the field. That will be assessed the false start on Lincoln. Not a good call for Lincoln at this point. They got a lot of territory to cover, a lot of score to make up. Taking a false start penalty. That is not in the recipe book.
Getting late into this fourth quarter, you know, guys start getting tired, and you forget that it's on the second count. You're trying to worry about your blocks and worry about your legs cramping up, but not here, not Friday Night Football. We don't allow for that, and it'll back you up 5 yards every time.
There's Hardman again in the shotgun. He's looking for another pass. Penetration, he's flushed out of where he wanted to be on the field. Wrapped up pass attempt. He was looking for Tyrell Robinson. I think Lincoln fans wanted a penalty marker on that. I think the Lincoln sideline did too. They're not going to get one.
And the senior defensive back, Tristan Juarez, coming over. And from my perspective here, it looked like he hit him as soon as he had some fingers on the ball. And I think it was a perfect timing by Juarez, the senior, who's been in plenty of game to know when he's allowed to hit the wide receiver and when he's not. Just getting his hand in there, good clean hit, breaking up that which would have been a big play for Lincoln.
Yeah, that would have been the first and then some for Lincoln. So Lincoln's at a third down. Still 10 to go. Looking for another pass, and it's a sack. My goodness, things just not going right for Lincoln right now.
St. Augustine putting up the three-man rush from that far side. Robbie DeCourt getting in. We've been saying his name quite a bit on the defensive side of the ball. Just putting pressure on that quarterback and creating havoc in the backfield.
Lincoln's going to have to punt this one away. Obviously, with 3 touchdown difference in the score, they did not want to give this one up this easily. 8:37 left on the clock. No choice but to punt, though, and it's off. It's a good punt. Real good punt. Clears about 50 yards on the field before it bounces out of bounds. So St. Augustine, they're going to get their start from somewhere around midfield. They're looking to put up maybe another score, put this one out of reach for Lincoln. If not, at least don't yield any sort of field position to Lincoln that they can make use of, because they're still in this game, very much so.
Yeah, look for the Saints here to put together a drive that takes up but 3 or 4 minutes off the clock, ideally, if not more. Run the ball a little more than they've been doing, and hopefully, like I said, take up some time, maybe put a few points on the board as well. I think that would really take the wind out of the sails of this Lincoln Hornets team.
Yeah, they're looking to eat up clock first and foremost, I think. They're going to hand it off to Preston. Preston's going to go through, find a little bit of a hole, pick up a couple yards. I'll tell you that Preston kid, he's having a whale of a freshman year.
Yeah, and you don't see too many freshmen stepping up on a team like Saints who's consistently got a talented squad with some great leaders over the years. There's really no room for freshmen to step in, and when there are, man, this year's been such a blessing for the Saints, the freshmen stepping up and making some big plays.
And seldom do you even see a freshman on the varsity squad, much less making the kind of contribution that Preston is. So obviously a gift to the Saints. Speaking of Preston, he's got the ball once again, makes another run out of nothing there. He's going to pick up a yard, maybe 2, depending on where they spot that ball. It's going to be third down, though, for the Saints. I think they were looking to eat up a little bit more clock in that first couple downs. By the way, they got 7 yards to go here. Less than 8 minutes left on the clock, about 7:20.
And at this point, you know, you do want to take up clock, but now you got to get a first down. And I think maybe we're looking at a little play action fake. I don't know.
Ooh, tasty.
I don't know. Something. Maybe get that ball in the air because the run, they need quite a few yards to pick up the first.
Hudson, he's going to fake. Oh, he's got hands all over. And he is eventually brought down. I thought for a second there he was going to be able to get that one off, but he is sacked. Good job penetrating that line by the Lincoln. Members out on the field. 6:40 left on the clock. So not nearly the kind of time they wanted to take off of that. Still not a bad job, though, and I hope they're going to punt this one away. I'd be monkey's uncle if they didn't.
Yeah, it looks like they're bringing the punt unit on. Number 4, Joe Maloof, who's been doing the punting duties this year for the Saints. But again, as soon as you kick that ball, this is one of the weak points we've seen for the Saints this game, giving the ball right into the hands of number 2, Tyree Robinson, which you never want to do. Got to be smart here.
That can be a serious issue. Robinson can do a lot of damage, so they're going to give him a squib. It actually collided with a Lincoln player. Kick went right into him. That was Johnny Garcia on Lincoln who it hit, and he just saw it and fell on top of it. So that's going to put him at the 45. So on that kick, really only an end result of about 10 yards or so. So that's not exactly what what St. Augustine wanted. That's definitely going to go in Lincoln's favor.
And another miscue on the Saints punting squad. After this game, they're going to spend a little more time working on both sides of the punt, I would imagine, the next couple of weeks before playoffs start.
They've had some issues with that this year. There's Hardman. Going to have flushed out on the near side of your screen. Is going to walk out at about the 50-yard line. Pick up about 5 yards from him. It's going to be second down. 5:52 left on the clock. As I mentioned, scores at 35-14 in favor of the Saints. So Lincoln's going to want to put up a score here, and they're going to want to do it pretty quick. The clock is definitely working against them at this point.
And I mean, they kind of got a gift on that punt return where they didn't have to do much and were given great field position. So if they can put up some points early here, they're going to be right back in this one, down only 2 scores.
Deep midfield. I like to run that post route. Can't come up with it, though. Pass attempt was to Tyrell Robinson. A little bit overthrown. We've seen that accuracy be an issue there. Hardman, he tends to throw it a little low or a little high. Has a hard time finding the middle ground.
Yeah, and you got to look. I mean, he's got a league-leading 1,180 yards on the season. So you've got to think that lack of accuracy here in this game has got to be largely because of the defensive line of the Saints getting pressure, getting guys in that backfield and disrupting the timing.
I think so, and he probably is accustomed to throwing it a little higher than you would on most players because he has those tall wide receivers. He's going to make a run on this one himself. Picks up a significant gain. Hardman going all the way to the Saints' 33-yard line. Easily the first down. 5:42 left on the clock.
Great run there by Hardman. Just seeing I don't know if that was a designed play for him, but it was almost as soon as he got that ball in his hands, there was a huge gap in the middle of the field. And he said, shoot, if you're going to give me 20 yards, I will take it.
Yeah, he definitely took off as soon as he saw that route. He's looking for a pass right here. And he's going to go ahead and run it himself once again. Another substantial pickup, about 6 yards. So another good run from Hardman. When he can't find anybody open, he says, well, we'll do it live.
Hey, whatever works. You'll take what you can get if you're the Lincoln Hornets at this point. If the Saints are going to give you some yards, you'll take them. And that's what they need. They've got to get into the end zone here, like we said, pretty quickly, too, so they can have some time to put up some more points.
Yeah, and clock management is definitely going to become an issue the more and more we get into the final goings of the fourth quarter here. Hardman looking deep, passes off, wide open. Tyree Robinson, almost uncontested catching that pass. Now at 20 points, Lincoln inching back into this game.
Man, it seems like if you're Ian Hardman, all you have to do is put that ball up, lead your receivers just a little bit. When you've got Tyree Robinson running out there, there was nobody within 5 yards of him. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened there, if there was a missed coverage or just pure athleticism shown by Tyree Robinson.
Extra point is up and good, so we're looking at a 21-35 game. Saints are still in the lead, but Lincoln's coming back and putting a dent in that number. Down 2 touchdowns, 5:22 left in the fourth quarter play.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups, like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
PlayOnSports.com, I'm Andrew Lockhart alongside John Henry. We're bringing you the final game of the regular season for these two teams. St. Augustine Saints, they maintain a 35-21 point lead over the host, Lincoln Hornets. Lincoln just put up a touchdown. Game got away from them for a little while. They're looking to bounce right back into this game. Clock's running down, so that's going to be an issue going forward. Only 5:22 left. They're working against the clock. But if they can get another quick score up against the Saints, make a big defensive hold here, it's going to be a difference maker. We'll even see they might even utilize some sort of a off-speed kick here.
We saw that first kick of the game. It was kind of a little pooch flub kick, I think, as you called it, to the near side.
Might have called it a flib, I don't know.
Flib kick, that might have been it too. Either way, look for something like that. The Saints defense kind of chatting it up, figuring out what they're going to do here. Here we go.
That is what they do. That is whistled almost immediately, though. Sort of a hot roller over towards the near side of the screen. Right around midfield was the final destination. Managed to be picked up by Buncombe. I think they're just going to redo this one.
Yeah, I don't think the referees ever told them that they were okay to go. I think the referees were still trying to get in position. Either way, like you said, their hand is shown kind of in this situation. They know a little frustrating for Lincoln, but what do you think? You going to run the same exact thing or change it up a little?
You know, I think it's going to have to be the defensive stand no matter where you are on the field. I think the mystery's gone a little bit if you're going to try something goofy here.
I think you have to have faith in your defense, and like you said, defensive stand. Put them back at the 20-yard line and let your defense go to work.
See what they do here. Not a big start, so they are going to go with the off speed. It's recovered by Lincoln. Refs are going to give it to him, so Lincoln manages to hold on to that ball. That was Tyree Robinson. Wow, he's making a strong showing here tonight. He just took off like a bat out of heck and managed to come up with that ball. And not only come up with it, but to drag a yard or two out of it on top of it.
Man, I mean, I don't know where he came from. He started on the near side as he lined up, just ran straight down the sideline, and that ball was kicked so perfectly by the kicker, Diego Martinez. It had that little short hop that kicked up on the front lines of that Saints offense, went off a hand or two, and then all of a sudden you see this big paw from Tyree Robinson reach out and one-hand the ball before it goes out of bounds. Like you said, tiptoes, gets a couple extra yards, and the Hornets are back in business here.
I'll tell you, that was something special. Hardman, he's looking for the pass play. A little too low to be picked up by the receiver along the sideline there. He was going for Mitchell once again. 5:16 left on the clock here. 2 scores short of being right back into this game. Saints are looking for a big defensive stand. The opposite is true of Lincoln. Second down. Lincoln's at the 43-yard line in St. Augustine territory. A little bit of energy pumped right back into this game. Shotgun formation. Hardman Down the middle. Robinson comes up with it. That's Tyree Robinson once again. And his shoulders have to be sore because he's carrying the weight on his team right now. Big play after big play.
I mean, whether it's special teams, defense, or offense, we are calling Tyree Robinson. It just seems like every play he is doing something right. And like you said, his shoulders, his back might be a little sore after this one tonight.
Might have a future in this game.
University of Oregon. Go Ducks.
Whack. Anyway, Hardman.
Oh, no.
Hardman's going to throw that one away, though. He was looking for Robinson, doesn't find it. That ball is cleanly intercepted. That was Tristan Juarez who came up with it, and he got pushed down. There's a flag on the play. There's a Lincoln player down. All that momentum, everything Lincoln had going for him is now off the table. And that's a shame because you really feel like the win was to the backs of Lincoln on that last couple plays there.
No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, I don't know if quarterback Hardman was rushed to throw that one and decided to throw it up before Robinson was ready to catch that ball, but he wasn't really in a position to make a play on the ball. And Tristan Juarez doing what a safety does best, just making a play on the ball, coming up big, going, catching it up at its highest point, and switching this one around the first takeaway for the Saints here tonight.
Nick Henderson, he's going to have to limp off the field. There's offsetting penalty markers on the field. Actually, I think they're going to end up being a penalization against St. Augustine. So St. Augustine's going to start about the 12-yard line. Make that a 13. So here we are, 4:46 left on the clock. Saints have possession once again. Lincoln's going to want to shut down this offense, try and get possession of the ball once again. There's Hudson. He's going to hand it off to Preston. Preston brought down really quick. Not going to be any gain on that play for Preston, though. It's going to be second down, Saints.
And we've seen this Hornets defense really buckle down here, and they're able to stop this Saints team as they pick up a loss of a yard there. Good job by the Hornets. If they can stay disciplined here and get a 3 and out, force the Saints to punt, they'll actually have decent field position and time to boot.
For 10 left on the clock, second down. Still up 35-21. St. Augustine has possession as well. We're gonna go with Preston once again. Preston's brought down after a short gain. Maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, so it's gonna be third down. Less than 4 minutes on the clock. Lincoln, this is an important defensive stand for them. As much time as the Saints can eat off this clock as possible is what they're striving to do. So this is crucial for Lincoln to make a big stand here, especially on this third down. Hudson hasn't passed very much. He's going to hand this one off to Preston again. Preston's finding a hole. It's going to be brought down. It's going to be really close to where he needed to be, though. See if they can pick up the first, and they are. They're going to move the chains.
And Preston, after, I'm guessing he's over 100 yards on the night, and every yard counts, even right there, just picking up just enough to get the first. If you don't pick up that first down, you've got to be thinking punt in that situation because you don't want to give Lincoln a 30-yard field to work with. Just a great effort there by Preston, picking up the first, and that's going to allow the Saints to take off a lot of time on this clock.
Another bad break for the Hornets. Drive up the middle by Preston once again. I think they're just going to keep pounding into the middle of the field there with the running back. We're at 2:30 left on the clock, still 35-21 Saints. And they're just munching away at the clock. They're going to keep running and pounding it. I imagine that's going to be an effective strategy. Lincoln, they're going to want to stop this as soon as possible, put up a quick score. Hudson waiting as long as possible before he gets that snap off. Fakes one handoff one way, goes back the other way with the run. It's going to be gain about 4. It's going to be third down.
And Lincoln still with 2 timeouts to burn. Looks like they're going to burn their first one now, and I think that's a good time because if you're able to stop the Saints from picking up a first, you're going to force them to punt and at least get the ball back. You know, the odds every second that ticks away, the odds are going a little bit further away from you, but you still got to give your boys a chance to make some plays out there. PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football coverage, but it's also your place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from all across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. And stay tuned tonight for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show, where we will select our player of the game, have a live interview with that player if we can grab him, and as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following this game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
So we have a $1:44 left on the clock. Saints, they're maintaining possession. They're at third down. 4 yards to go. They're just trying to eat up as much of this clock as possible. Lincoln's used one of their timeouts. They're looking for a big stand here.
Got to imagine this one's going to Francois Sims, lining up behind the quarterback.
That one is going to go against Lincoln. Jumping too early from Lincoln was Gassay. Too early, that's costly. St. Augustine, they're going to maintain possession here, plus the penalty. Absolutely not the outcome that Lincoln wanted.
That's tough. I mean, late in the game here, just the smallest of mental errors, but 5 yards. It's a game of inches, and those 5 yards give Saints a first down, and that's going to allow them to take this one down almost to the end.
Preston's going to put up a big run here. He's got 2 men in front of him. Tries to split between both of them. Couldn't make the gap work for him when he's brought down. That's going to be a huge gain, though. Less than 1:30 left on the clock, and he arrives right around the 32-yard line. Huge run from Preston. It's going to really damage Lincoln's cause here.
I think someone should let Preston know that we're just playing 4 quarters tonight. He's still running like the first time he touched that ball. He's just nonstop. Such a powerful athlete and only a freshman, as we've mentioned. I mean, as a coach, Coach Sanchez has got to be so proud of the kid. They're stepping up the whole year, and especially with a minute to go in this game, just running his heart out, busting out a big 40-yard gain.
Clock's still running right now. Ball is handed off to Sims. We saw Sims put up the 29-yard run touchdown in the second quarter of play. We have 44 seconds left till this one's all but done. 35 seconds now. Saints just eating away at it. That's going to wrap up this season, though, for St. Augustine and for Lincoln. St. Augustine, they're going to end up being 8-2 as 15 seconds are ticking off the clock. So they'll arrive at 8-2. Lincoln's going to end up at 6-4. So the Eastern League, that's going to go to St. Augustine. Division 4 is also going to go to St. Augustine. St. Augustine wraps up a tremendous season here. Final score of 35-21. And ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned to PlayOnSports.com for our post-game coverage. We'll wrap up all the action in our post-game show, and we'll have an interview with our player of the game. That'll be coming up in just a few minutes. Once again, the St. Augustine Saints have defeated the Lincoln Hornets. Final score of 35-21 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
The game, Elijah Preston. Elijah, you had a touchdown, and we think you cleared more than 140 yards. How did you feel out there today, especially in such an important game as this and the last game of the regular season?
I felt good. Just keep my feet moving, and I like to thank my O-line to open up holes when they weren't there and making plays when we didn't have anything.
Your offensive line did a great job, but I think your best asset is you're able to take off so quickly and reach maximum velocity so quickly. Is there anything you do to practice or prepare to build up that speed?
Well, I do 5-yard get-offs, so I just run out, I burst out, and then once I get to open field, I stride. And
it seems to be working for you.
Yeah.
And you had a heck of a season, too. Obviously, you're filling some big shoes because of injuries. As a freshman, is this the kind of season you were expecting to have?
No, not really. I didn't expect our starting running back to get hurt. But I came in, filled the spot, and my coach wanted me to do it, and I succeeded in it.
Well, we think you've been doing an incredible job. You wrapped up the regular season. How do you feel about the playoffs now?
Playoffs, I feel good about it. Trying to win the CIF, try to get there. We just got to keep going in practice and keep it moving.
All right, you got a lot of momentum on your side going forward into the playoffs now. Thank you so much. Our PlayOnSports.com player of the game, Elijah Preston. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll be back in a moment here with the rest of our post.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
PlayOnSports.com. I'm Andrew Lockhart alongside John Henry. We saw an exciting game there. Almost came down to really close with that last interception play. I think that might have done Lincoln in, though.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln was doing such a good job getting the ball into the hands of the guys that can make the plays. They have so much talent and so much speed out there. The Saints just a little too overwhelming, too consistent. They didn't make enough errors for Lincoln to really take advantage of. And the Saints coming out with the victory because I think they just played all around better football.
I agree, and the Saints, they almost didn't even have to rely on their passing game whatsoever. It was a story of running game. We spoke with Elijah Preston, who, like we said, we think he cleared over 140 yards. He's had an incredible season. For the Saints, the running game, we saw a couple other guys make great running plays for them as well. I think that was a key contributor to the offense.
Yeah, Preston, 140 yards, touchdown, and then Francois Swims, the other freshman. I mean, unbelievable for Saints to have two running backs that are both freshmen, both getting touchdowns tonight. And JoJo Hudson, he didn't have to pass a whole lot tonight because that secondary for the Hornets was so they were just so money. I mean, there's
Absolutely.
no other way to put it. They were so good, so there was really nowhere to throw. You got to run. You got to rely on freshmen to run, and you got to rely on your quarterback, JoJo Hudson, to kind of control everything, and he did a great job.
Yep, and Elijah Preston, only a freshman. He's had a fairy tale season. We can't say enough good things about him, and thanks to him for coming up and speaking to us. So the final record on the season, it'll be the St. Augustine Saints. They will go to 8-3. Lincoln Hornets will go to 6-4. Let's recap the scoring for you really quick. In the second quarter, Sims had that 29-yard run up the middle. Robinson, he had that punt return. That made it a 7-7 game. Hudson, the 1-yard run, he went in himself and got it, 14-7. 24-yard pass to Mitchell, that tied it up 14-all. Patrick Dixon, he put the Saints up 21-14. Then went to Chapman. He had caught a pass, ran a little bit, put it up 28-14. Preston, 29-yard run. We spoke to Preston. Great job, 35-14 Saints. Then the 34-yard run from Robinson ended it at 35-21, our final score. So that's going to wrap it up here at Lincoln High School here in San Diego, California. Obviously, we'd like to thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm Andrew Lockhart. This is John Henry. Our producer, Chris Cashman, over there. Videographer, Aaron Hunt. Thanks to everybody for doing a great job tonight. So long. We'll hope you join us next week. We'll have some playoff coverage here at PlayOnSports.com. Have a great night.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.